No, I just did. Sorry.
Oh, hey, that's okay.
Hold on. Good evening. It is Wednesday, Spotlight Wednesday. How are you guys doing?
How you guys
Good.
doing? I'm
Good.
Okay.
We
How
got
are
a
you?
good. We got a caller on the line. I think I mentioned to you guys earlier. I did talk to her. Hey Jesse, are you on the line?
Yeah, hi, it's me. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm doing good. Over here in Michigan. You guys are over in California.
No, we're actually, and I know you've probably not seen the screen, but so I have Tori. She is in Phoenix, originally from Michigan. I'm originally from Southwest Detroit, and then Alex, which is the sports guy, he is actually in Southwest Detroit as we speak. So we have a couple people on the video, and then we brought you on. And Jessie is if I'm reading it right, youth legal program director. Are you head of the domestic sexual violence program in Southwest Detroit?
Yeah, I work with our youth and our legal piece of the domestic and sexual violence program, and then Dolores Hernandez is our program director.
Okay. So the biggest topic tonight, and that's what we were bringing you on, and I really appreciate you coming on. So thank you for that. The biggest piece that we wanted to talk about was COVID, a pandemic within a pandemic. That was the basically the name of the show tonight. Tell me a little bit. What is going on during COVID, domestic violence, all that stuff that is happening around the country, but I know you can definitely speak on what's going on in Southwest Detroit.
Sure. Yeah, it's been really difficult for survivors of domestic and sexual violence during this time.
So
and I do want to give a quick shout out to Sexual Assault Awareness Month is in April. So I want to kind of address that as well. We talk about both domestic and sexual violence, and family violence is a really big issue during the pandemic because a lot of people are trapped at home with their abusers.
Right.
And it makes it really difficult for people to seek services.
And I think that's what we've been seeing in all the articles that I've been seeing. They're making it difficult because people are at home and they're telling you to isolate yourself. And they're usually home with their abuser, correct?
Right. And for the most part, we hear a lot about like sexual assault and domestic violence as being strangers, but it's almost always somebody you know and somebody who can take advantage of that relationship that you have with them. So being home and being isolated, being away from schools and systems, you're just not able to reach out for the level of support that you were before. And then you're additionally with that person, so it's an extra level of trauma that we're really concerned about right now.
So what type of services are you guys offering? Because I know it makes it difficult, and I know I was talking to Tori, which is another co-host on the thing.
When I snap my fingers, you will become a snake.
Sorry.
When I snap my fingers a second time, we'll be trying to know. Hello? Oh, hey, Greg. Sure, no.
I'm sorry. Sorry, something came up. I know we were talking, and we were talking about maybe a universal sign. Like, I know a lot of times when doctors would, you would go into the doctor's office, and if you had problems, like if you went into Chas Clinic, at that time you would address, hey, I'm being sexually assaulted. I'm going, just domestic violence is going on in the home. So you discuss that with your doctor. But now that everything is telemedicine, it's hard to convey that, so we were saying, is there a certain sign that like the government or the United States is coming up with to say, hey, if you do a certain sign, that it's something is happening? Because I know you guys are, like I said, most of the time people are doing these telemedicine appointments. So it makes it definitely difficult to communicate or convey that as an adult or even as a child.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and I'm definitely concerned about that as well. What I would say is the best thing to do is to really check in on your friends.
Okay.
Because one of the problems with having a signal is that you can think that you're putting out a message and nobody hears it, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So if it's an emergency or an immediate signal, you really want to arrange that with your family or friends in advance and make sure that they understand what it is, and that way you can text a code word. I also use the text crisis line a lot, which is something that people can kind of send out messages without their partner maybe overhearing, although I would also recommend, deleting those messages from their phones after. But the text crisis line is 741-741.
Can you repeat that number for me, Ceci?
Sure, it's 741-741.
Okay. And is that work nationwide, or is that just in the Metro Detroit area?
It does.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That is great info. I'm going to post that right now. And if you said it's 741-741, and that, what's the name of that, what is the name of that hotline, Jessica?
It's the text crisis hotline. So it's good for mental health, suicidal ideation, really anything that's going on right now. But the best part about it is that you can do it without your partner hearing what you're saying.
Oh, that's awesome.
Wonderful. That's wonderful. Yeah, as I was talking to Drake the other day in regards to, like he said, a lot of people can go to their doctor, and even, and I'm sure you've probably seen it in the restrooms at your doctor's office, there'll be a sign in the stall that says, if you are, having domestic violence or sexual abuse, please let someone know, please tell somebody. So now them being home and doing these medical, visits, it's just, they don't even have that outlet. And then also, I know I've seen a lot of people since the pandemic has started, a lot of people are on Facebook if their abuser is allowing them to go on Facebook, because I've also witnessed that, as an issue. But they will do a code, hey, I'm selling makeup, what color would you like, kind of color codes, so that they can respond if their abuser is paying attention to that, which I think is also great. Or also another tip someone told me and I thought was great is store these numbers of your help underneath different names in your phone, maybe, makeup lady or grocery store or, something, pizza delivery, something. So, you can have these on deck if you have to use them in an emergency.
Yeah, absolutely. I think those are really good tips. And I would just recommend reaching out to any family or friends that you haven't been isolated to let them know what the code is. So that way they know what to look for and they hear the makeup code and they understand what that means. Because the code might be something different for each person.
Absolutely.
It's good to make sure you identify a few close contacts that you can reach out to.
So
Absolutely.
I know that another big topic, even though that, with sexual violence and, being a domestic violence, a biggest thing that I had a conversation with the mother of my children is that children don't have that voice. And it's difficult to convey that to if one of the people that are, committing this against them, it's that person. So, when they would go to school, they teacher or whatever, a principal or somebody that's in authority. So do you have any tips or that you can give to maybe a parent that knows that their child is being abused and they're being abused at the same time? Is there any tips or that you can tell besides the 741-741?
The first thing I would say for kids or for adults is to make sure that the kids are not hearing as much as possible and not getting in the middle of the abuse as much as possible.
Right.
Then you want to try to foster connections that they have with another caring adult, like a grandparent, aunt, uncle, godparent, anyone like that you trust. And that way they can reach out and they can have someone they can talk to, maybe that the abuser's okay with that relationship with. And then that person can help them get the help that they need with your permission.
Okay. Makes sense. Now, the other thing is the sexual violence. Are you seeing a lot of that increase? I know we're saying COVID definitely is making an increase for the domestic violence, but is sexual violence at its all-time high because of the pandemic?
I think it's very high right now, and I think it's changing a little bit. With youth, the things that we're seeing is a lot of issues with digital abuse.
Okay.
A lot of sharing, non-consensual sharing of intimate images is what we call it. I think generally people call it revenge porn, but we call it non-consensual sharing of images.
Right.
So we see a lot of that right now because people are on their phones a lot.
Right. Wow.
And then people are just afraid. But I would say sexual abuse it continues to be an issue as people are coming out of their houses more. It's just really becoming a serious issue. It always has been. There's more attention to it, especially during this month. But I want to make sure that we're supporting survivors in whatever way we can.
Absolutely. Now, can you tell us if there's somebody in your area, what the process is to get help? Because I know I've been reading a lot of different processes and numbers to call, and an acquaintance of mine has told me that here in Arizona, the process is pretty lengthy on when you have to be screened, and so it's very hard for them to decide who wants help, who needs help, who's actually going to get the help that's received to them and not just go back to their abuser. So when they call you or, somebody reaches out to you, what's the process of that?
So there's a couple of things. Our program was founded specifically to reach the Latinx community in Southwest Detroit. And so when we were created, we didn't make a shelter because a lot of survivors in the community didn't feel comfortable going to a shelter. So I would say that the access issues a lot of times involve shelters because there's just not a lot of space right now, and shelters are at 50% capacity because of COVID.
Yeah.
So that's probably where you're hearing people really struggling to get help. But anybody who wants help, just counseling and anything like that, can certainly call our number. We're not open. We're not a 24-hour hotline. That's why I give the text crisis line. But our main number is 313-849-3920, and then you want to hit prompt 9 for the Lepida program, Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 5.
You said 3920?
313-849-3920. Yeah.
Okay, and then what was the extension or the
prompt was 9? Yep.
Prompt 9.
9.
Okay.
And while we focus on the Latinx community, we serve everybody. So anybody who identifies as a survivor can certainly reach out, and we'll make sure we get you the help and resources you need.
That's great.
That's awesome. Now I know you were Tori was saying about like the numbers and stuff. Are you guys seeing that? Do you guys get the national like statistics, or is it just in the Metro Detroit area?
Most of what we're working on is in the Metro Detroit area.
Okay.
I would say we noticed with COVID though is that cases increase in their intensity. So I think it's really important to kind of pay attention to any kind of domestic violence that you might suspect with your family or friends.
Okay.
Because they can escalate really quickly, and we're seeing a lot more cases where there's just a lot of really serious violence. People getting put in the hospital, people with guns,
Okay.
A lot of really serious situations. So it's just really important for all of us to look out for each other right now.
Well said.
Yeah. I guess my next question is that when you have the domestic violence and the sexual violence that's going on with our children, when you when you are in that, what's going on in that, and you're being or whatever, sexually assaulted or domestic violence, are you guys, definitely when they go through that, or if they get out of it, are you guys offering some type of mental counseling for them during that, or, trying to get out of that? Are you guys offering type of counseling at the clinic? Because I know that definitely that's a huge thing for mental illness through this
Trauma.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, we are offering. Yep, we're offering counseling. We also have legal assistance,
Okay.
and immigration assistance for survivors of domestic and sexual violence as well.
That's a huge topic. I mean,
yeah,
so definitely going to say the immigration thing. I think a lot of times when you are not illegal, you might be afraid to call some of these numbers. You might be afraid to call the police department because you don't want to be reported So I mean, that's a huge issue. So how do you guys deal with that? When someone says, "Hey, I just don't want to go. I just don't want to be deported. I want to stay in this country," but this is happening. I mean, they're still human.
Right, absolutely, 100%. And our goal really is to help people make the best decision they can. So we don't tell people what to do,
Right.
but we offer support. We tell them what the resources are. And we also help people with immigration issues. So there's two specific laws. I can get into it a little bit, that are made to help survivors of domestic and sexual violence. And the first is called a VAWA, which is the Victims Violence Against Women Act. And that's for people who are abused by a U.S. citizen or permanent resident.
Okay.
And it allows you to petition for your own status without that person. It recognizes that the dynamics of immigration is often used against immigrants in domestic violence. And then there's also a U visa, which is if you're helpful in a crime, a serious crime like domestic or sexual violence, and you cooperate with law enforcement, then you can apply to get like a temporary residency. And then after 3 years, you would apply for your green card.
Wow.
Now, the caveat with the U visa is that there's a cap at 10,000. So there's a pretty substantial backlog right now. Probably 5 to 8 years at least in order to get just your first petition through.
Wow.
But it is something that we want to let survivors know when they're working with law enforcement that this is out there.
That's some great news. I'm glad you were able to pass that along to our viewers. So if you guys are in the Southwest Detroit area, need assistance, definitely dial the hotline. And then you also have them. Their number is 313-849-3920. You have the 741-7141 hotline. And then what is the national number? I know I posted it earlier. You might know it by heart. I can look it up, but isn't there a national hotline number for domestic violence?
There is a national hotline number for domestic violence. I don't know it by heart, but let me pull it up.
I can get it probably, but you might be able to get it quicker than I can.
There's also the RAIN hotline as well for sexual assault.
Okay.
Yeah.
The domestic hotline is 1-800-799-SAFE, SAFE, 1-800-799-7233.
Thank you. I see you for that.
Or you can go to the www.thehotline.org.
Thank you. Jesse, I really appreciate you coming on. Thanks for taking your time. We really appreciate you coming on and telling people there is outlets out there, guys. So if you know what's going on in someone's particular home, just please reach out. No, is there something that they could reach out if they wanted to, just before I let you go, like a welfare check if you can't get a hold of? Is there a number that they can reach out for like that, something like that with a welfare check to have a police officer come by, or that you just direct them to the police department?
That was probably the police department. And of course, in Southwest Detroit, we work closely with the 4th Precinct.
Okay.
And the neighborhood police officers are really good about that as well.
Okay. Well, like I said, I appreciate you coming on. Thanks for taking your time. Anything else before you want to go? Because I know you were saying something before that, and I know you were trying to plug something, and I didn't hear you. The audience heard it, but you were saying something, and I couldn't hear you.
I really just appreciate the time that you guys gave to this important issue. I mean, it's a rough time for survivors right now, and the best we can do is support people, let them know that we're going to be here for them no matter what. Now, as the pandemic eases, hopefully soon, but we're here to help people process all the trauma that they've been through throughout their lives, and especially within the past year.
I appreciate it. Thanks, Jesse.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jesse. Thank you for joining us, and keep up the good work. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Take care. Bye.
You as well. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. I think that was awesome. There was some great information in there. So if you guys don't, you need that information, just reach back out to us and we will post it. I'm going to play a couple things. I know I shared you guys something, and I know we're getting another somebody else coming on here. Let's see here. These are some of the news stories that are, it happened around the country.
Pandemic putting entire cities and states under lockdown. The stress, uncertainty, and isolation caused by COVID-19, creating worst-case scenarios for some victims of domestic violence, many living under the same roof as their abusers and finding it all the more difficult to seek help.
Well, like everyone else right now, victims of domestic violence are staying at home, and there are restrictions on their moving around just like everyone else.
When a victim, a survivor of abuse is physically stuck inside their home with an abusive partner, for example, I mean, that seems like a nightmare scenario, right?
Yes, under any circumstances, it's a nightmare scenario. And of course, now with heightened, everybody's got heightened fear and worry and anxiety, their economic anxieties. That all heightens the concerns for people who are in violent situations.
New York City's domestic violence resource website, NYC Hope, seeing a surge in the number of visits, ballooning from an average of 45 visits a day earlier this year to an average of 115 daily visits. The National Domestic Violence Hotline also receiving thousands of calls with stories of abuse related to COVID-19.
We've heard stories where survivors are saying my relationship was emotionally abusive, but it became physically abusive last time. We've heard stories from women whose partners were coming home and coughing on them and telling them that they were infecting them with the coronavirus. We've heard really horrific stories of women not having the option necessarily to go to shelter right now.
New York City law enforcement warning that while crime overall has fallen drastically, domestic violence happening behind closed doors may be underreported.
Crime has dropped off the face of the map, really. Domestic violence crime still happens. We have not seen an uptick, but what I'm concerned about is, it's happening and it's not getting reported. And I think that's a reality we should all face.
For anybody who is watching, who is stuck at home right now with an abusive partner, what would you want them to know?
I just want to remind survivors that you are strong, courageous. You have been surviving every day for most likely a very long time, and that there will be a light at the end of this tunnel.
Now, here in New York City, the family justice centers where victims and survivors of domestic violence can go to get help, they are temporarily closed. You want to make sure that people know that there are local and national hotlines that they can call to try to speak to someone. And there are also websites like Safe Horizon, where they can chat with somebody online if speaking on the phone is not a safe option.
So that's happening in the biggest city in this country. So I can imagine, some of these rural towns, if that's happening,
smaller cities and shit.
Yeah, smaller cities, and they might not have all those programs. It makes it tough, don't you think, Alex?
Yeah, I mean, and then, just speaking for Detroit, there's manpower is at an all-time low. Like it's always, it's been for a while. So that's scary as I'm listening to you guys, you guys talk to her and the questions and everything. And just all I'm thinking about is that was my first thing when you sent me some of the articles. I was just like, wow, I mean, it's just got to be like she said, a nightmare. You know what I mean? It's like you're trapped. You're just free. I can't even imagine what some women are going through. Maybe some men, but mainly women.
Definitely, there's definitely men that as well. One out of 4 women and 1 out of 10 men. And there's a lot of and if you think about it, there's really not very many programs that cater to men, because it's very seldom do you see a man who has custody of his children or takes his children to get away. So in some situations where they try to find shelter, a lot of times they can't house the men with the women. So they have to put the men in another area. And with everything being cut by a certain percentage, it's just making that aspect of it as well hard, but it definitely happens to men more in case of double in the case of women and children. But I just
and then the coughing, you don't even think about that. You're like, that's
Mm-hmm.
wow,
Well, when she said the mental and emotional abuse turned physical, and I could totally see that because so many people are being, emotionally and verbally abused, but not really physically. But once they're put in that position where they can't leave and all the stresses of the pandemic are piling up on the person who's already, the not just the stresses on the person being abused, but the abuser is under stress as well, clearly. And so they're taking it out on them, and it then becomes physically violent, and the children are witnessing as well. And a lot of times these people who are being abused, it falls into a financial issue and an economical issue, because let's face it, if you have a bank account with some money in it, it's probably a whole lot easier for you to leave than it is for you that depends on, your husband that pays the bills and takes care of you and doesn't give you a car or doesn't, you don't have a way to escape.
Right. Stay at home mothers and moms and stuff like that. Yeah, that's
I've even met women who have told me that they can't even do the grocery shopping, or they do, he's with her. So even to go to the grocery store or to have your phone monitored like that, it's just so sad. So sad.
Yeah, I've seen some outrageous stuff before in my life,
Yeah,
personally.
I was.
I grew up seeing it happen to somebody very close to me. So you forget about it as being.
I know somebody
baby,
going through it right now. She's not a close friend, but she's a close friend of close friend of a family member, and the person who brought it to my attention has tried to help her, and she's so emotionally and verbally abused that she doesn't believe she can get away. Even so much as this, the person that told me about this has gone to the home and tried to help her, and he's tried to attack her, like my family member who was trying to help. And destroyed her things and makes everybody else, he gaslights her, makes everybody else think that she's crazy until you actually see it. And as much as I think she wants out of that situation, I think she's fearful that once she does break free, he will come find her and
that was like the second thing that I was thinking about earlier was like, they're just so terrified and some of them are just so stuck and so manipulated and just traumatized.
Well,
already.
they're broke down. They've literally been beaten down. Their self-esteem is gone. They're being made to feel as if they are nothing and nobody will help them. And sometimes in situations they reach out, or a family or friends try to help, and when they go back, they feel that no one else will help them because they didn't take the help completely the first time, which it's not always that easy. It's not always that easy because you have ties to this person, you have and again, so you get out of a situation, but then I've seen so many times where somebody gets out of the situation, right, and now you're stuck, you have nowhere to go, you're on a friend or a family member's couch, which then becomes awkward, right? So now you feel like a burden,
right?
And you eventually,
if you have children, that's even
and then you have children. So and now you guys have no belongings, no things, all so they end up going back because that abuser manipulates you to come back and make you think everything's gonna be
because the stress with all of that alone is just like through the freaking roof. Oh my god!
All of it, and then there's no shelters that can go, right now because the shelters are cut at anywhere from 50 to 25% capacity.
Right.
So,
hey, caller, who's this?
Craziness.
Hey, Michelle, how are you?
Hi, Michelle.
So tell us who you are. Michelle is Tori's friend. She's a friend of the show. Tell us exactly what you do, and then we'll go into it, and then we'll go from there.
So right now I'm actually a case manager for a homeless shelter, but I work with various other agencies that deal with the same topics and matter that you guys are discussing today. And so I've been in the business about 21 years in social services, with a vast range of working with different demographics and situations.
And this is in the Phoenix metro area, guys.
Okay.
Well, I'm actually hubbed in Avondale, but I cover pretty much the whole metropolitan area.
So the topic today, of course, and you already know, is a pandemic within a pandemic, dealing with domestic violence, dealing with all different mental illness, all that. When you say you're at the shelters, what type of capacity are they at because of COVID, because of domestic violence? Are they at full capacity right now?
Yeah, that's the sad part, is that everybody is at capacity because of COVID. And so all of, not just myself, but other agencies have had to get really creative in wanting to help to provide services for individuals that are experiencing domestic violence. Fortunately, we are getting funding to put individuals in hotels, but but it's still a limitation, and then there's still different red tape that hinders someone to actually get in the process. Because even if somebody does call the hotline for a DV, they literally go through an intake that takes about 45 minutes to see where this person or their children can be actually placed. And because those beds are not made available, you have individuals that are just on waiting lists.
So when you're going through certain trauma at home, and I can't imagine that you call and you're like you're on a wait list.
Yeah, I can't even imagine the how long the list is. It's like
Well,
I would hate to
imagine.
hear what it is, but
Yeah, well, imagine having to sneak away and call, and then sitting on a 45-minute to an hour
yeah.
call just trying to do so in itself is scary.
Yeah, it is. And that's why we really try to advocate, if they are able to get away, to go to certain places that are in the valley that are considered havens. Like, for instance, QT is a haven. If you tell that person at the counter that, you know what, you have this situation, they'll lock that store down. But the thing is, like you said, it's a pandemic within a pandemic. How do you get away to be able to do something like that?
Right.
And get not even just that, the encouragement and, to be able to even walk out the door. Because a lot of times they're not just walking away from a home, they have children with them. And so then their kids, maybe then, and their children will be out on the streets. And, and a lot of times, depending on the family situation dynamic, some families don't want to get involved in that situation, or they've been ostracized, and family and friends have kind of taken a step back. So it gets really unique. Yeah. But I know that I work with various different services and providers that we try to find some way somehow to get somebody placed so that they don't experience that homelessness. And then at the same time, we call it wraparound services, where we can get them some type of assistance, whether that be the counseling or finding a way they can get in what we call transitional housing. So it's a process within a process, unfortunately, and it's just not something that we're able to fix overnight.
Right.
Yeah.
So what? Is there certain programs that you guys offer, or is there a number that they can call locally here in the metro or in the valley or whatever? I would say metro because I'm used to saying Metro Detroit, but in the valley.
Yeah, there's a couple of agencies. A lot of times, because of the change that happened about 2 years ago, everybody pretty much calls the hotline. But if they do connect with someone like myself, then what we do is we don't just connect with the hotline. We try to call Family Promises. We'll try to call you, Mom. We try our best not to get individuals to get to CAS, even though they have to go through the Welcome Center in order to get to some of these agencies. We try to detour that and try to get them somewhere else. But there is a few. I don't have the numbers on me right now, but I can provide that information, and maybe you guys can load it up later.
Yeah, if you could just you could text Tori, or you could text me, and I'll put it in the chat.
Okay.
So what type of effect, and this is what kind of, is a tearjerker for me. And like I brought it up with the other person that called in. But what kind of effect are we seeing on children with this pandemic, within a pandemic, especially being in a domestic violence situation?
Well, the sad thing is that suicide has been very, the numbers have increased dramatically in this last year. So we're finding, not just because these children are at home because of being schooled and not be able to return to, face-to-face school, but you got to think the numbers have been heightened with suicide in regards to dealing with different emotional hurt that's going upon them within their own household.
Right. And I think that's because during the pandemic, people are, because of mental illness, committing suicide because they feel there's no outlet. You know what I mean? And I feel bad for these children that are in this distant learning. I mean, I had the conversation with my child today. She was just like, and there is no domestic violence at the house, but she feels like, she's overwhelmed with distant learning. She's like, I'm so over it. You know what I mean? And I can imagine if you compound, if there's a problem at the home, you know what I mean? She was just like in tears, like, I'm so tired of this. You know what I mean? And I can imagine you throwing that in there. I mean, I can't imagine what a child's going through right now.
No, and so that even with there's not, I mean, even though they do have, the crisis lines for them to call, but they really prefer to have someone who's one of their peers to be able to identify, and it's really limited because even with their peers trying to relate to their situation, they really can't. They don't have the outlet, communication to be able to talk to anybody, so they feel trapped just as the abuser is feeling trapped.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's horrible. You reach out for help, and sometimes you're told you can't get it. I mean, I can't even imagine, dealing with that, or that you have to wait. It's just, it's
or people sleeping.
It's really heartbreaking. Like
more to live. It's just crazy.
It is. I mean, nobody was ready for this pandemic. I mean, but at the same time, even after October 31st, when DC, lift up the levy regarding, people getting evicted, we have so many families that call us because they are sleeping in their cars, and that's the only thing they do have.
Right.
Yeah, that's just sad. But Michelle, I appreciate you calling in. Thanks a lot. Hopefully this is a eye opener for people. They have to be aware of what is going on with domestic violence, sexual violence during the pandemic, and it is a pandemic within a pandemic. It's just sad, but people need to be aware of what's going on and what type of effects that it's having on children. So I appreciate you calling.
I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for calling in.
Yeah, thank you.
Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Wow.
Such a difficult situation, and I think people, like she said, people just weren't ready for this. And like I said, I had that conversation with my daughter. She has tutoring every week, and twice or three times. Right. She forgot her at her mother's house, and she was just in tears. I'm just over it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's so much.
Yeah. And it's crazy you say that, because last year in the summertime, the same thing happened with my daughter. And I was like, what, what's the match? She was doing homework and all of that. And she just was crying, and I was talking to her on the phone for like 2 hours,
Yeah.
And I was just like, well, what, I was like, what is, what is
or
it?
15.
Right. I was like, what is it? Like, what is it? I don't know. And I was like, wow.
Yeah.
So
it's just different for these children, especially if they're in a bad situation or if their parents are in a bad situation. It's overwhelming.
Yeah.
Really.
She was just like, I'm stressed out, and she was 15 at the time, and I'm just like,
What are you stressing?
Yeah, you know, and I was careful about how I was like,
It's
at
hard.
first I was like, what do you mean? What do you mean you're stressed? Like, what? I was like, what? You got to talk to me. Just talk to me.
Right.
Tell me, So, but so you brought that up, and it is rough, man. It is. It's a lot rougher than you think. You know what I mean? So,
Right.
You,
Well,
you
just
think they're
even,
okay, and
even just there was
just gotta be there.
already, it was hard to find resources, but now with the pandemic, it's just even
Right.
worse. A lot of places aren't, in business or answering. So when they try to do, go and get help, it's very limited. I think Jesse had a good point too. Check on your friends. Be aware of what's going on.
Right.
You don't want to think that a friend or an acquaintance of yours is being abused, or maybe even the abuser. You might have that friend that's a little bit of a hothead, that you've noticed that they talk to their children or their spouse a certain way, but I'm sure, and you don't want to think this of your friends or family
so easy
members,
to
but
mind your own business and just stay quiet.
exactly, but you have to pay attention. Even if it's as much as inviting their children over to your home to hang out, to feel the child out, or maybe even just give them a break, right? To give the child a break, give your friend a break. Is, like you said, it's so easy to mind your business right now, because we're all, we've all been under some stress. Everybody says we're in the same boat, but the waters are different for everybody.
Yeah, for sure.
Even coming out of this, there's so much stress on things that have compiled, or people, still aren't working, or all the things that have just, snowballed. And so you really have to check on your friends. You really have to pay attention to your people. Try to reach out. Try to just be there for them and supportive. But also, if you do know something's going on, try to think of a safe way to help them, if that is even possible. Because like Jesse said, these things can escalate so very quickly. Everybody has firearms in their homes. You want to do a welfare check, but I feel like there's got to be a safe way to do it.
Right.
It's just such a fine
it's
line.
like for most people, like
nobody knows the right answer, right?
Right. Like you would think, like, wow, I wouldn't want to. You would hope everybody would think like this, and I wouldn't want to feel guilty if something was to happen to a friend of mine that I knew something was going on.
Right. Like you don't want to rock the boat, because you know that this might, happen.
You're doing the right thing.
like I was speaking of the acquaintance of a family member, we went as far as she was still working away from the home, so it was easier to see her because she's an essential worker. And they had somebody show up at her work and just say, make a new email address, right? Something we can contact you without knowing. It's hard. It's really hard.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And also I wanted to give a special shout out for Tony Mendez. He actually got the Jesse to call in. So much love, Tony. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, man.
Thanks for calling. Just a very important topic, and people just be aware. You know what I mean? Like, check on your friends. Check on your friends. You know what I mean? If you see something going on, check on them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, both women, Jesse and Michelle, are both doing a great job. Michelle's a close friend of mine, and just hearing the stories daily, and she puts so much emphasis on other people's issues to make sure that they can have a safe haven. They don't become homeless. They, get out of a situation that is so harmful to them, and just trying to provide as much support as they can, but also, learning learning people's traumas and what triggers them. Everybody has something different. And so thank you to both those women for doing such a great job.
Yeah, definitely. We got a caller on the line. Hey, caller. Who's this?
It's Angie. Hi, guys.
Hi, Angie. How are you?
Hi.
I know Angie said she wanted to share something, so I'll let you tell the story. Basically, she has a close relative that went through it, and I'll let you tell the story. So go ahead.
Yeah.
So this happened back in 2014, and I did post a link of one of the articles there here in Michigan. My cousin, she had a heart of gold. She just wanted somebody to love her. She had lost a child. And she ended up with this guy. He had a past with domestic violence, with other women. He ended up beating her in a course of 3 hours. Brain damage. She had to be put into a medically induced coma. It was the worst. Doctors didn't think she would make it. She didn't fully recover because she had the mindset of a child after that. But she did really well, but she ended up passing away 5 years, almost to the anniversary, due to another illness. But I feel like if she didn't go through that, she might have recovered from the illness maybe a lot easier than losing her life, but as much as we, there is a guilt there because we did know about it, but she wouldn't take the help, and it's hard to try to go to somebody and give her the help when she refused it.
Right.
And just like a lot of women, don't get the help that they need because they are fearful, they are scared. So it's a horrible thing. It's a horrible thing. And, I've been through it in the past, but I walked away really quick, quick, so, it's tough, and I mean, if there's help out there, for these women, I mean, please do get it before you do end up losing your life. It happens.
Yeah, it's so scary.
Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing, and deepest condolences, to your friend and family and everybody, and that's what it takes, people to share their stories. So, I just want to thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing. Yeah, but like you said, there's such a, you have this guilt that you carry if something does happen. It's you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. And like when I was talking to Michelle, and she said they go through that 45-minute screening, right?
Sure.
And a lot of times the women go back to their abuser, and so then they're chastised by their friends and family, and they kind of just wash their hands of it because they're just like, well, she doesn't want help. But again, there's so much more than it's just that, as we were saying. And you said you were strong enough to walk away from a physically abusive relationship, which is just, an incredible strength. I went through 16 years of not always physical, but mentally and emotionally abusive, like verbally. But it was very hard for me to walk away because I had, a special needs child. I was dependent on this person. So many factors that come into it when you're broke down and your morale is broke and your self-esteem, and again, you don't really have supportive family that can help you fully get away. Like maybe you can get away for the day or a couple days, but then after that, like you kind of feel helpless and you don't have a choice but to go back, because like for me, where was I going to go? In a shelter with a child in a wheelchair? Like that's
you just kind of keep hoping it gets better. You just
So you walk a fine line, you walk on eggshells, you try to do things that you should never be abused for, but what their triggers are, and so you just wait for the next. It's not really a matter of if, it's a matter of when, right? But again, you carry this guilt when you want to help somebody, and trying to understand the dynamics of this trauma. It's just it's terrible. It really truly is a pandemic. Yeah, absolutely.
The thing is, I even had conversations with her of my personal experiences, and I'm like, this is not something that you want. And she had went through, like just a heartbreaking divorce. She lost a baby, so she just wanted that sense of being wanted, and he sometimes made her feel that way, but at the end of the day, it wasn't, I mean, he really didn't care about her, or something like that. And in a course of 3 hours, a beating for 3 hours, and in front of his 14-year-old daughter.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yep.
So do you mind me asking what happened to the daughter?
She testified against him in the preliminary.
Wow.
Wow.
Jesus.
Trial changed his plea because he didn't want to put her through that again, his daughter.
Wow.
So
She definitely had the strength of her that her mother had to keep fighting and to have the courage to do that. Like, wow.
This was his daughter. This was his daughter.
this was his daughter.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
wow.
Yeah, and they ended up charging him with kidnapping, torture, domestic, as a habitual offender. He's not eligible for parole till he's like 84. He got like 55 years.
Good,
so,
as he deserved.
Good.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. So it was definitely, domestic definitely hits hard for our family, but,
sure.
moving her to, being sick, was kind of just like, really? She comes so far, with her.
Yeah. Everything else that she dealt with prior to, I can imagine.
Now, Angie, you have children?
Mm-hmm.
You have children, yes? And are they they're doing the virtual learning right now?
My daughter, she's older and married, but my son is going through it, and let me tell you, it is rough, and he's autistic at that.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, that's hard.
Yeah, I've seen some of your posts. I forgot. Yeah. Just kind of dawning on me.
I was curious on if they're doing the virtual learning and if you, I feel like during this, parents with children of ages like that maybe kind of know their children's friends, if they ever worry about certain kids that they know could be in trouble right now. I mean, not every child has tons of friends where they're in that, they know their other people's homes or this and that. But, sometimes when my kids were younger, I'd see one of their certain friends and I knew that they might have it a little rough at home. Right. So I just wonder if any parents are looking out for that, or if there's any suggestions that people can do to help these kids. It's terrible.
I definitely am blessed to say that my son has a really great group of friends where I feel like they are all in very great positions when it comes to their parents.
Oh, that's good.
I do have a son now that is dealing, he's a full-time dad. He struggles with the mom of his daughter, of her being present and co-parenting and being there for her daughter. And I think she's kind of going through a little, process right now. She had an incident in the last couple of days with, another group of people and whatnot. And my heart just broke for her. And I told him, I'm like, I'm by all means, I'm not her mom, but if she needs any female to talk to and to be there for her, like, I'm all ears. I will 100%, be there, because I know that she doesn't have that from her own mom, so it's heartbreaking because me as a girl, I'm like, my daughter had me 110%, so, it's, and I feel for him being a dad because he's just like, I don't know what to do,
Right.
Sometimes all it takes is the right person to talk to you, because I won't name no names, but I had a family member that grew up pretty rough, and my raised by grandmother, and a lot of times, like, she would call different aunts and uncles would come over, and everybody mainly would just, back then we just got yelled at or our ass whipped, you know what I mean? So, but but there was, I'll say it was, my parents were the godparents, so they, like, he just listened to them. So that's what I mean by sometimes it takes the right person to talk to somebody that can actually help them, and they will actually listen to. So that's awesome.
Yeah. And
of you.
Yeah, well, he definitely took me. He's definitely taking me up on my offer. You know, so I'm gonna meet with them
That's
this
awesome.
week. You know, yeah, and I told him, I'm like, you know, hey, you know, I've been there. I know what it's like to have a teenage daughter, and I get you being dad. You have to play good guy, bad guy. I'm like, but I think she needs that feminine, you know, touch. You know, and after hearing it from outside of dad and not. I said, because there's probably a lot of things that she's going through that she's not telling you, you know, because you're the parent, the enemy.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
And
for
dad,
sure.
not only just the parent, but a male.
Right.
Yeah, and that's what I told him. I said, and your dad, you know, I said, then if she doesn't have that relationship with her mom, you know, that's tough, you know. I'm like, so hopefully I can get her, you know, to open up and kind of, you know, but we'll see. It's time will tell.
God bless
Yeah,
you.
it might
That's
may take a couple times, but if she knows that she has you and she can call you at any time, and she knows that she's going to see you on a regular basis, even if it's just to say hey, or you know, grab a bite or just hang out. I think that you'll be able to build that the lines of communication and trust with her, and I think that's great that you're doing that. I really do. Thank you.
Thanks, Angie. Thanks for calling in.
Thank you for sharing so much.
Absolutely.
All right, guys, have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you too. Stay safe.
Bye-bye. So
That's awesome.
Video, yeah, great. Thanks, Angie.
That's a triple, right? I mean, that's like a trifecta of amazing calls right there, man. I mean,
yeah.
Wow.
So this is going on in Phoenix. They show that the homicide rate has gone up because of domestic violence. I'll play a little bit of this video. It's kind of long, but I'll play it.
And that's in Phoenix too. Wow.
Yeah.
Frame. We're going to be looking at why we're seeing those numbers, and we're also going to be looking at some resources that are available in regards to these numbers. We want to encourage those that are watching to comment any questions that they may have. We will be answering those questions as we have this discussion this morning. Now, Mercedes, we're about 6 feet apart. I would suggest we take these off if you're comfortable with that. All right. So first off, let's just talk a little bit about the numbers that we're seeing so far, January to June here. Sorry, I'm a little tied up. In Phoenix for crime numbers.
So what we're seeing is that there is an increase in violent crime, specifically in our homicides and our aggravated assaults. What we're also seeing is that there is a downward trend in rapes, theft, and burglary. So which would include our property crimes.
So the same thing that's happening in New York.
Actually, is a conversation happening across the nation right now. We saw a Wall Street Journal article that came out that said that they're seeing these homicides trending upward about 24% in the nation's 50 largest cities. So this is a conversation that's going on across the nation. We're going to be talking about specifically Phoenix today.
Absolutely. So when you talk about what the trend is nationally, I think what we're seeing is, to your point, there is an increase. And so we can't speak to what those increases mean in other cities, but with the beauty of what our data has shown us is what we're going to talk about today and why that increase in homicide specifically is up.
Yeah, so let's jump right in. Let's head into homicides. We've got some
numbers
this morning. So first off, homicides. Mercedes, tell us a little bit about what we're seeing on this graph, specifically to DV, which is domestic violence.
Absolutely. So in 2019, you'll see that there is just under 75 homicides for that time frame. We're talking about January through June. In 2020, we're seeing almost 100 homicides, which would be probably the low 90s is what we're looking at. And when we really dive into, hey, tell us what those homicides are and what they're related to, we realize that in 2020, it's a huge increase. So we had about
look at that.
In 2019 that were domestic violence related. It was almost double in 2020 for that same time period.
Can you talk about what those calls
So
sound like for us?
That's a crazy graph, man. Wow.
Yeah, I was reading that burglaries in our area have gone down by 25%,
Right,
and the domestic violence has gone up double.
That's
So
crazy.
it's
People are
doubled.
staying home. What in the world?
It's doubled the breaking and enterings and the burglaries, and literally have fallen off the map. And they over doubled.
Scared that like I don't want to go out and get sick. But you know what I mean?
I think it's both. I think it's people are you these people are home now, so you're going to break. That's the truth. You're going to break in a home when somebody's going to be home. It's a lot easier to rob a house when someone's at work.
Right.
So now you have they're not robbing homes and they're not committing these crimes. But instead, you have the people who were probably doing all those things now beating their partner's
Taking it
ass.
out. Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
Or their kids. So, yeah.
I was looking at something here online, and it says, "What are some common signs of abuse?" And some of the common signs is, your partner keeps track of everything you do. Your partner insists that you reply right away to texts, emails, or calls. Demands that you know the password of social media, emails, and other accounts. Abusive partner may act jealous, including constantly accusing of you cheating. It may attempt you control how much you spent. They may be very demanding. Abusive partner may act angry and have questions, unpredictable temper. They may hurt you physically, such as hitting, beating, pushing, shoving. They may sexually abuse you, include rape, or force you into sexual activity. The abuse partner may threaten you to turn into authorities for illegal activities, report abuse, or you resist. So those are some of the signs that are kind of that kind of show that there might be some abuse going on. But I mean, just like I said, just crazy numbers that you're seeing all across the country. And I think I was looking at another article. This is in King County. It looks like King County might.
Saw that.
That's crazy too. And it's like guys are yelling at their wives, their girlfriends, and shit. Where you been? Where you going? Like, they probably ain't going nowhere because of the COVID. So it's like, what?
Right. So now,
relax.
While
That's
pandemic,
crazy.
right? So now they can't go anywhere, right?
Right.
Or if they are at work, they're demanding where you are. Send me your location.
I mean, if you're at home too, you're drinking, man. You're drinking. There's probably
a lot of people are drinking
more of that
right
going
now.
on for sure.
I saw actually yesterday. I was reading some statistics, and they said March of 2020, they saw it skyrocket in March of 2020 when it first began. Like it super skyrocketed over 100%, and then dropped down, still double, but dropped down and then stayed at a heavy margin. So it's been going on for forever, right? But the past year to see this skyrocketing, and then I thought it was, pretty sad as well to see some of these places that are rural areas. They expected to have a huge skyrocket, and all of a sudden their phones aren't ringing at all, which really is creepy, because that goes ahead and it confirms that these people cannot get to a safe haven to be able to call. Now imagine you can't get to a safe haven to be able to call. None of these phones are ringing. They're like, okay, they have the statistics for the police station once it's been called in, but the actual hotlines stop ringing in certain areas because they can't. Yeah. And now imagine trying to make a 45-minute call.
Right.
Well,
this is in Washington.
Check on your friends, people. Check on your friends, please.
This is Washington State.
From the stay-at-home orders has been an increase in domestic violence cases. According to the King County Prosecutor's Office, domestic violence deaths are more than double what they were in 2018 and 19. Kelly Starr from the Washington State Coalition Against Domestic Violence joins me now. Thanks for being here, Kelly. These are staggering numbers that we're hearing. What are we seeing in King County right now?
Yeah, we're seeing an increase, as you've been talking about. I mean, the reality is that home is not a safe place for everyone. And so with orders that say stay safe, stay home, that can be both incredibly dangerous for people who are in abusive relationships, as well as that messaging can be really isolating if you're somebody who isn't safe in your own home.
Yeah, and tangibly, I mean, we know that home is not always safe in normal times. These are such abnormal times. So how does isolation tangibly exacerbate problems that may already exist?
Yeah, domestic violence, abusive relationships, at the heart of that, it's about power and control. And so when somebody has more access to you 24/7, that can really increase their control. And at the same time, with these stay-at-home orders, we're seeing that people have less access to really important resources, less connection with friends and family. And so as an abuser's control is going up and their partner's access to support and external resources goes down, that's why we're seeing things that we're really concerned about in our communities.
And this is, of course, not to excuse any abuse, but There's so much additional stress right now from the pandemic. People are losing their jobs. So what role does that play, that kind of stress and tension in the increase that we see in abuse?
Yeah, I mean, stress and tension, those things don't turn somebody into an abuser if they weren't already, but it can certainly escalate things and make a situation more dangerous. You know, with the pandemic, we're also seeing less access to money and resources. You know, so many people have lost their jobs. People are concerned about losing their housing. Though access to money is a really key part of staying safe and stable and having options that are independent of an abusive partner. And so when those choices can shrink and we're, you know, we think there's going to be long-term economic impacts to the pandemic that can make it more dangerous because people just simply don't have as many options.
So, I mean, you see definitely, Alex and Tori, that it's not happening just in,
No.
And when she said you can't be safe in your own home,
yeah,
I mean, wow. That pretty much says it all right there. It's insane.
It is.
I feel sorry for the kids, man. I mean, you know, I feel sorry for all kids that have to deal with any
make sure, like I said, like I think Tori said, Jesse said, Michelle said, everybody just check on your friends, check on them, make sure they're okay. Check, and and if you see a kid, going through it or whatever, talk to them. Being a godparent, being a grandfather, being an uncle.
Think of creative ways to get that child alone, or even that adult alone, to pry and get them to open up to you. Even if it's so much as to pass along the crisis text line number to them, or the national hotline in a incognito way.
Right.
But don't chastise and don't give up on them, no matter how many times you try to help.
Right. It's just, like I said, it's just definitely sad. Just make sure that you look. You can Google the resources, what's in your area, and if there isn't, you definitely have the hotline. So.
Yeah, there's the hotline, the 741-741 crisis text line, and again, the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-7233. And as always, you can reach out to any one of us if you need to talk, or you need some help with resources, or if you, you feel that there's a family member that needs help and you don't know how to go about it, and we're always here to help.
Yeah. 100%. So we'll move on to something a little less emotional. I know.
Yeah, that was rough.
It is, but it needs to be talked about.
It does need to be talked about for sure.
It does, and sure. And it's all of our jobs to talk about it and to shine light on the dark, and to continue to do so. And even if one person watched this today and got the courage to seek help, or to help someone else, or just open their eyes to say, hey, you know what, I should be paying attention a little bit more than our job has been done here. So
exactly.
So I don't know who put this in there. I don't know if it was Alex or today's fashion, skinny jeans.
It was Tori. No, it was me. No, it was me. And I actually came up with like a little two-part question.
Okay, go for it.
So I was watching the interview and I heard a guy talk about like a certain hip hop CEO talk about the how he doesn't want to talk down to the youth today, or the millennials, or the younger rap
right
era and stuff like that. So he was just talking about certain things. He was like, do what you got to do, what you do, whatever. So he brought up the fashion. He was like, that's just the one thing that I don't get as far as the skinny jeans go. And just, he was like, it's not, he didn't talk shit. I just like the way he said it. He was like, it's not masculine. It's like, it doesn't look right. So that's why I wanted to put that in there. And I wanted to ask you, like, what do you think about that? Because for me, I bought a pair. Now they're like workout pants. And they unzip from the bottom.
So they have some compression to them.
So they unzip at the bottom, but they're still slim. They go slim at the thing. And so that's the closest I've ever bought to wearing any pants or anything.
Are they comfortable to you though?
When I first bought them, they were, and I was like, okay. let me go run to the store real quick. I'm just not used to wearing nothing like that ever. So
you were self-conscious in them?
Yeah, when I went out, I was I'll be all right. So I ran to the store right down the street.
Right.
Got out. When I got out, the wind was kind of blowing a little bit, and I'm just like, I did not feel right at all. I don't know.
You had the imprint of everything.
Maybe it was the wind. I don't know, but it just didn't
Blame
feel
it on
right.
the wind.
It felt too. I don't know. I didn't like the feeling. So yeah, very awkward. But what do you think about the boys wearing pants? Like everything is so tight.
I gotta be honest.
And is there anything? Hold on. Is there anything that you could compare like skinny jeans to, as far as like a woman's clothing goes, or like a
leggings.
style of a woman's clothing?
I mean, women wear leggings. I live in leggings. Literally, leggings are like thick tights, right?
I see everybody, women wearing those. Yeah. God bless you. Thank you for wearing them. For real, because I see so many girls and women. That's all they wear.
I don't even wear jeans anymore. I own so many pairs of jeans, and I'm so. What did you just say about camel toe?
You just want to see you want to see girls' camel toes. That's why.
I see. You know what? I wear leggings, and I never have a camel toe. You got to get the right fit, right?
Yes.
I guess you just got to know. You just got to know the length of material in inches from the crotch to the waistline, where you like it to sit on your waistline.
Okay.
For me, I have a comfort so for me, for women, right?
Yes,
and I don't know if this goes
camel toe,
I don't know. I was going to
Because-
talk about skinny jeans and compression, not camel
Okay,
toe, but
all right,
we can hit both. I'll put it in.
A puffy vagina, so I don't know. I like that big puff.
Ew, you like a
This guy said
you like
puff.
You like a puffy vagina? You like it to look through the pants like that? That's your thing?
No, I'm just fucking with you.
Oh, okay. I'm like, oh, that's okay. So back to what I was saying. So I know for me, I prefer to have pants that have some compression to it. Maybe it's because I'm thicker. I got a little jiggle going on. I got some junk in the trunk, some juice, right? So when I wear a baggier pants, I feel messy. Like, I don't know. I just don't feel put together. I like something a little more.
That doesn't feel comfortable at all, right?
I feel a little more structured for me. Right. Guys are different. Right. Guys like it loose because, they got junk and they got their, their penis. So, and their nuts and whatever. And some guys don't wear, briefs. They wear the loose boxers.
I like stuff a little
I know guys that always wear basketball shorts underneath their pants, and I think that is a weird thing. Like, how are you even fucking comfortable with all that material? But again, I also think skinny jeans look good on certain guys, and certain body types do not look good on. No, you should not wear skinny jeans. There's a slim, I like a fitting, but listen. Your pants can't be tighter than mine, okay? Your pants can't be tighter than mine, and especially when your legs are smaller than mine. We don't look at together. We can't do that. I got thick thighs. Like, I can't. Though. I will tell you this. I do like the more fitted jogging pants on guys recently, like certain styles. And I've seen bigger guys wear them too, and they look really good.
Right.
I think all sizes can pull that off. You just have to be confident, and you have to pick the right size for you. Like, if you're an extra large, get yourself a 2X, right? I still think that it has a clean look to it. There's a fine line between baggy, fitted, and straight up skinny, right?
Yeah.
Like, fucking, you want to borrow some of my leggings?
I got make so many different styles nowadays. It's like, back then it was just like one style, and then it was two, now there's slim and there's thin. And
I was watching. I don't even remember what I was watching the other day, but it was Key and Peele, and they were talking about Zeke Cavaricci, right?
Oh, wow.
And he goes. Damn. So we wore these jeans, right? And they were tapered at the waist, and they were tapered at the ankle, but they had this curve to them that gave us hips. Like, dudes wanted the curve that gave him hips. He's like, and then we tightened the ankle even fucking more. And the one dude was like, why are you yelling? He's like, because I fucking wore these and I don't know why.
Wow, yeah.
Like, we all wore them, yeah. So and like Connie said, she doesn't really like skinny, but she doesn't like super baggy and sagging either. I think there's a just wear what fits you.
Right.
But
this is
but joggers, yes, joggers.
Yeah, I'm like,
gray,
I never sagged or something,
gray joggers
is
like the lingerie for women.
Right.
And this is the answer, Alex. This is how I like
Go
it.
ahead. Oh man. Oh my god.
You got nothing in the store nobody wants to. Man, it's that upscale clientele. All our gentlemen have style.
That's what I'm talking about right there.
Men wear clothes. Women have style.
What's the service are you looking for?
A regular shirt.
Oh my god.
See this shirt? Every guy in our block's got one of these.
Every guy in the block.
You got on the vest. It's hot as hell here. Gentlemen, ladies, work for me and dress.
It's too funny.
Where'd you find these guys? Noah's Ark? There's a lot of trouble finding your fly.
I can't take it. Rodney, Dan, look at him.
Oh my god.
I didn't realize what your true talents were.
Too much.
You had
Alex, you need one of those sweaters.
Everything we've been buying, wrong. All wrong. Tell us more. Your pants. Our pants. Yeah, pants with lots of room. When you sit down, they don't split. And zippers don't look easy, so you can fix your
Oh my god.
He said, so you can fix your shorts. Oh man, that shit is classic shit right there. Oh my god.
I think you should just wear something that fits you good. If just don't look like you don't be so baggy that it looks like you got shit in your pants. You know. How about this look? How about this look? The skinny. How about the skinny jeans that still sag? How the fuck does that even happen?
I don't even. That's what I'm talking about. I see so many.
So you know what it reminds me of from the behind? If you look at them from the behind, they look like a wisdom tooth.
Dude.
Yeah, they do. They look like a wisdom tooth. They remind me of
funny.
a wisdom tooth. Also, like the women who get the shitty they get too much done to their butt and they have these little bitty legs with the big old butt. It looks like a bell pepper or like a wisdom tooth. Yeah, I think the skinny jeans with the sagging ass.
Seen a couple of those at work. Sorry.
Listen, me too. I look at everybody. I look at everybody's ass. I'm a woman. I do. I'm so bad. I look well because because I like look at their boobs and their butt. I'm an
ass watcher.
I check out everybody's ass. I'm like,
funny. Yeah, you know what? I can't act.
I'm like, oh, or if there's a dude that's got a juicier booty than me, I'm like, oh, he got some juicy booty.
Juicy booty.
Yeah. That's definitely a t-shirt. I'm an ass watcher.
I am an ass watcher. I'm totally
hilarious.
And I can tell if it's real or if it's fake or if it's had squats or if they work out. It's hard not to be, even as a woman.
There was two guys. We were leaving. I was leaving work, and they were talking about a girl that was in front of them.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked, and I was like, because I worked by her, and I was
okay to look.
I was like, damn, what in the world?
She had injections.
And he was, and that's what one of them was saying. He said, man,
did her legs match her booty?
She was a short girl. She was a short girl, not really.
Yeah,
not
no.
really.
If her legs don't match like the thickness, that's how you know.
Right, yeah. And the guy was like, man, that shit fake as hell, bro. And I just was like, damn. I was like, yeah, I knew there was something going on fishy over there.
Let's say, okay, it's not. So there's so many different ways, but it's not necessarily fake because it's probably her own fat that was sucked from one place and put in the other. So technically, it's still real fat. It's just real fat. It got put in there. It got put in there.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look again when I go back. I'll see what's going on. No,
I have no problem. Listen, and I'm okay. I don't hate. And I know, and I actually. I know this. We went right from topic from skinny jeans to ass injections, but it's okay because it goes in the. What?
Right.
What did they say?
I know this guy. This guy, he's gay, and he's gonna get butt injections next week, and he's
Wow.
like, I can't. I mean, hey, to each his own.
What
But
in the world?
he's ready to plump it
I
up.
might
He
need.
really doesn't.
I might need
He
that.
doesn't have
I might
any
need that.
ass though. He doesn't have any ass though. He's got a wider
Yeah,
stomach
I
and
might
no
need
butt.
that.
So I'm kind of excited for him. He gonna be juicy.
Hell no.
Juicy booty.
Mhm.
Hey,
Juicy booty.
Shit.
oh, caller, we got you on the line.
Hey, this is Connie, guys. How you doing?
Hey, Connie, how are you?
How's it going?
Hey, Connie.
So,
Good, good. So I just have one question.
Skinny jeans or what?
What's that?
Go ahead. Sorry.
Not on guys. It's disgusting. I want to puke.
You said what? You want to pull them up?
No, she wants.
I want to puke. I want to throw up. Yeah.
Oh,
It's
right.
disgusting. Guys should have nice fitted jeans on the waist with a belt, nice shirt. Just, that's it.
Yeah,
Right,
like it fits their body, whatever body type
Keep
they
it
have in their
simple.
weight. They should wear the right size.
Exactly. Exactly.
So it sounds
But
like
I
a lot
did
of
have
women,
a
A lot of
question.
women need to dress.
Yeah,
But
what's your question?
So how can you tell if a girl's booty fake?
Okay, so a lot of it has to do with the projection when you look at it from the side, right? Like, and I'm not saying that all shelf booties are fake, but a lot of times the thighs don't match the projection of the ass, right? So the ass is perfectly rounded, and the thighs are really skinny. Very seldom do you see a perfectly rounded, booty with a shelf projection and little bitty legs. Now, don't get me wrong. Some of these women are out here tricking everybody with them booty underwear, right? So they wear the underwear that's padded, right? Or they wear the faja underwear that have the booty circles cut out. So it wraps around the butt cheek so that it plumps that booty cheek
the
and
whole
makes
science
that
to this
part.
shit.
There is. I'm telling you, there's a whole science to this.
Right.
See what you men make us do, like
It's crazy.
Anyways, so
I might need some of those.
there's
Where you get
there's
those
a couple different, there's a couple different ways to
Right.
see. I always look at the whole body. Like, does she look like she's in a straight compression suit? She's probably wearing a faja underneath there.
Right.
Assologist.
Tori the
I
assologist.
guess I'm gonna.
There you go, assologist.
Listen. If when in doubt, secretly snap a picture and send it to me, and I'll tell you.
Assology.
I swear, I always in the store. I have so many pictures of people's asses.
It's like the Dr. Oz of ass.
We're gonna put that when you sign your name. Put assologist. Tori, assologist.
Boom, official. It's official.
Or Dr. Ruth.
I look at it so much, and because like I said, I'm like advocate for plastic surgery. I'm all for it.
So I feel great.
do.
You just made me feel
I
extra great about
studied
myself.
it. I studied it. I
honestly, there can be some booty built. I mean, some booties that were built in the gym. Seriously.
Absolutely.
Right.
And this is good point. So a squat booty doesn't have as much cuff underneath, right? A squat booty has a shelf to it, but the thigh to the ass ratio with the cuff underneath, like the moon part, the moon, it doesn't have, and I'm not saying that they all can't, but if it's a real like squat booty, that booty is lifted, but the shelf projection on top is very
We see
projected.
a lot of that, Tori, on NXT.
Yeah.
Like when you watch NXT, the women's that's shelf booty right there.
Do you notice the under booty though doesn't have as much fat to it, because that thigh, when you do squats, that thigh muscle
And that's
builds
really
so
all
much,
they do,
and it eliminates that right there.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying that they don't have that under, but a lot of times that's how you can tell when it's been made in the gym. It doesn't have that cup as much.
Wow.
So,
That's a lot of information.
Dang, she's a professional.
I know that is a whole situation. Now I'm gonna start looking at asses.
Girl, I'm
Ain't
telling
got
you,
the cuff,
it's.
but it's got the puff in the front. What about
I'm telling you, once you start looking, you can't stop. I'm like, I'll be in Costco, like, oh, she got a nice
Damn.
booty, and I'm not sexually harassing people. I look though, and I'll look. I might circle around the aisle. Listen, I might circle around the aisle one time just to get
to
a
make
good
sure,
another
like,
look.
damn, yeah, you'd like a double
Yeah,
take. Right.
it is what it is.
Right.
So. It is what it is. No harm done. Like, I'm not like creepy with it. I
Damn, I
mean,
did
if
that at the
she
mall the other day.
notices
I'm not gonna
me,
lie.
I've had people notice it, and I'll be like, "Ooh, girl, I see you," and she knows what I'm talking about.
I did that at Southland the other day. I'm not gonna lie. Pretending I was looking at some shit. I was gonna buy some shit, but I wasn't buying shit. I wasn't buying nothing.
You were just checking out the booty.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
Southland stalker.
But thanks for answering my question, guys, and I really love you tonight. Love you guys.
Thanks.
Yeah,
Love you too. Thanks for calling in. Stay safe.
Bye.
Damn, ass.
Bye.
Word of the day is assologist.
Assologist.
I'm gonna put it on the shirt.
Yeah, assologist. That's hilarious.
Certified assologist.
Wow.
Assologist.
It
So
is what it is. Hey, if you're gonna be something, at least be good at it, right?
right. So there's 14 finalists in the NBA Basketball Hall of Fame that are nominated in 2021. This is Ben Wallace, which is my man.
That's right. Highlight City, man. Jesus Christ. Oh, that's nasty. I literally remember that. That shit looks crazy, man. Video game shit, bro. Video game.
Right?
My God. Too funny. Oh, pay the Paul Pierce. Good. I remember that too. We lost, but I remember it.
That was is there any question, Alex, that he should be inducted?
I don't think there's. I don't know why someone commented the other day and said that he wouldn't make it. I don't know if that's just the Detroit thing they think that they got against us, but I think he's a first ballot Hall of Famer, man. I mean, he broke a lot of records. Dikembe Mutombo's records, 4-time All-Star, 3-time second teams, 5-time All Defensive. I mean, yeah, I mean he was a staple, man. So I don't know. I don't know how that's gonna go. There's a lot of, it's a pretty good list. So, but I think he deserves it. I think he does.
I don't think there's any question. He's one of the players that he wasn't a 7-footer, but he as a small power forward center, he played big. You just saw him put Shaq to the floor, and Shaq is what 7'1", 7'3"? I can't even remember, but
yeah,
I mean,
he's like just a 7-footer.
Yeah, I mean,
they told him that he couldn't play. They told him, gosh, I think it was high school. I can't remember if it was high school I read, but they told him that he he was too small to play center, and he joined Charles Oakley. His brothers signed he was 10 of 11 brothers and sisters, and one of his brothers signed him up in the summer league, Charles Oakley Summer League. Charles Oakley knew somebody, a recruiter somewhere at Virginia Union,
right?
Told him about him, and and so he went there, and so Charles Oakley basically discovered him pretty much. And man, I thought that I didn't even know that.
He's one of 11. Did you say one of 11 kids?
Yeah, he has 10.
Wow.
Yeah,
10 brothers and
big
sisters.
family. Yep.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I think he deserves it.
Yep. I mean, he, 10 as the 10th of 11 children raised in Alabama, he was discovered by NBA great Charles Oakley, who became his mentor at high school summer basketball camp. Wallace played 2 years. I can't even pronounce the community college. Geez, CUYAHOGA, Suahoga, I think it is, community college in Cleveland, before he transferred to Virginia Union, which was like a Division 2 or 3 school, I think. But yeah, I mean, like I said, man, I mean, he just did it differently, man. We traded him, Joe Dumars traded Grant Hill for, him and Chucky Atkins we got in return.
Right.
And I mean, that's where it started, man. So, yeah, we'll see. I was trying to look up the list. I know Chris Webber's on there.
Chris Webber, yeah.
Did you see any other names or no?
No, I just said Chris Webber, Ben Wallace. So,
but yeah, this pretty good article where he talks about the at the Palace and the Malice and all that stuff like that, and pretty good article. But yeah, man, we'll see. I think he deserves it.
Mm-hmm.
So
just like this guy deserved it.
Right.
First Japanese a master title in a major championship. I can't even pronounce his name.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Hideki,
yeah.
Matsuyama, I think it is.
Matsuyama, yeah.
That's the best I can do, man.
He shot it. Matsuyama playing with Paul Casey.
Matsuyama.
First team, please welcome from England, Paul Casey.
So he ended up claiming, Masters.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, kind of like basically the Stanley Cup for golf or whatever. So, Japanese,
Damn.
and that, what I think
he finished one stroke ahead. It says that's crazy. So he won by one stroke.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
he won
awesome.
one stroke or not. He was enough to win. So.
Right.
It's a great accomplishment.
27. Oh no, he's not. How old? I'm trying to see how old he is. I'm just curious.
Back to the first tee.
Trying to get it off the screen. All right, sorry about that. Yeah, I don't know how old he is, but I mean that's a huge accomplishment, especially what's going on in United States with all this stuff with they're abusing Asians and stuff like that. So
yeah, for sure. I didn't even think about that. It's a great point.
It's definitely a huge thing. So
yeah,
definitely,
very
it's
positive.
what's going on with the hate crimes and all that stuff. So it was a huge thing. So.
Okay, he's 29 years old. I was just curious.
Okay.
29 years old.
Yeah.
So not too young, but for a golfer, but
right.
but
he was
good
due.
age to win it. Yeah.
Right. That's awesome.
Definitely do. Much deserved.
Right. So I don't know if you guys see, this was another thing that I posted. This would be our last topic of the night. The CDC and the FDA recommended U.S. pause the U.S. Johnson & Johnson COVID-19 vaccine over blood clot.
Yeah, wow.
And a lot of times, a lot of people are not educated of what's going on.
Have gained so much.
It's a commercial that's trying to play before the video. Admitted or distributed over 1 million vaccines. There was only 6 people, but it was only 6 people that are affected with this blood clot thing that's going on. But
you said
6 people, yeah. Keep in mind, Johnson & Johnson they have to pull it off the shelf, and it has to go back. They have to find out what's causing.
Wow.
Yeah. And what these 6 people have in common.
Right.
In the world.
Right. So I'll play this video real quick.
God bless them. I know they're terrified, probably.
Yeah.
I would think a little bit.
Or a lot of it.
Yeah.
FDA headquarters.
The FDA and CDC recommended a pause in use of the Johnson & Johnson COVID-19 vaccine over concerns of rare blood clots. But top White House health officials say there won't be a significant impact on vaccination efforts.
We have more than enough supply of Pfizer and Moderna vaccines to continue the current pace of about 3 million shots per day.
Officials say there have been 6 reported cases of blood clots out of more than 6.8 million doses delivered. One woman has died.
Oh, wow.
6 cases occurred in women between the ages of 18 and 48, and their symptoms developed 6 to 13 days after receiving the vaccination.
This is a really rare event if you look at what we know so far.
Federal health officials say those who received the vaccine recently should seek medical attention if they develop any of these symptoms. They also warn using the drug heparin to treat the rare blood clot could be dangerous.
The CDC will hold an advisory committee meeting on Wednesday to discuss the 6 cases and next steps. Meanwhile, Johnson & Johnson released a statement saying that there is no clear relationship between these rare events and the vaccine.
The J&J pause also dominated Tuesday's weekly White House COVID response team conference call with state governors.
My hope would be that this is something that.
So, I was wrong on the number 1 million. It was 6.8. Someone said 1 million.
That's like 1% pretty much.
Yeah, well, 6 people.
Less than 1 every million. Less than 1 in a million.
And the problem, it's only affecting women, which is.
Oh, wow.
A little bit of a speed bump.
I'm curious to
all
know
6 of those
why
were
using. I'm curious to know why using heparin is going to be dangerous, because I know that that's what they use for blood clots. So why? I mean, I haven't done enough research to know on why they say, and maybe it's because it's a thinner. And remember, they were saying don't take ibuprofen because that's a blood thinner. So I'm just gonna go ahead and assume that that's why. But if you're having clots, I feel like it contradicts itself. So, but again, it could, we don't know. They say don't use any blood thinners when you had COVID in general, not the vaccine, but the actual, when you were infected. So I guess that makes sense in that sense. I don't know. I still, like you said, it's only in women. So now they have to look at what these women had in common. Were they doing certain things? Did they already have an underlying issue? Were they a certain weight? Did they possibly take something prior or during that?
Right. And I think that's
or were they on certain medications? They could have been on a certain medication.
Allergic. I was thinking about different reactions.
That they already. That they were already on that now has, did this, or did they have some kind of procedure leading up to this that maybe triggered it? Because there's a lot of procedures that, cause poor circulation. Right. So, were they joggers? I don't know.
Yeah, and I think, but a lot of people that I talk to, they're freaked out because they're saying, you see, and I'm like,
they're not educating themselves.
6 people, come on, 6 people.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
They're not educating themselves.
Yeah, it cannot even have nothing to do with that. I mean, and if it does, it's like Tori said, there's a lot. It's not just one thing. It's never just one thing. So.
Right.
But I mean, like we did talk about before that. The Johnson & Johnson. It's like I seen those commercials. And I'm like, wow, they're getting sued. They're still getting sued, but so there was a question with them. So I mean, if it happens with one of the other ones, God forbid, then
right,
we got a problem. We got a real bad problem somewhere, probably. So
well, I know they're having issues with it. It's a 4th vaccine, but it's in Europe, so I know that they're having problems over there with the blood clots. So.
Right, but everybody like see, and there's probably some people that didn't even get the.
That's a good point, Connie. I mean, because there was some cancer going on with the baby powder with Johnson.
Right.
But
so I was saying, like, how could you even trust them? Like, wow. I don't know.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much all I have for tonight. Saturday's guest. Bring it up real quick.
Yeah, is she a friend of yours, or I was?
You know, I don't know her personally. She's on my Facebook. I don't know her personally, but she has abundant mentality. She does, you know, I guess she beauty supplies, trending fashion. So definitely check out the show. She'll go over everything that she has. She has that line that I know that she just released. It's a girl beauty, outwear, accessories, men things, extensions, eyeline. So she has a bunch of different things. So she'll be on the show.
That's cool.
She'll be on the show on Saturday.
Check it out.
Maybe she makes skinny jeans for guys.
I'm sure she's got leggings for you.
Some leggings, but
I gotta.
We gotta get you some cheetah print leggings to tuck your junk.
To tuck your junk. Oh my god.
Tuck your puffin.
Puffin.
Mm-hmm.
Check out. She got her link tree. And I'm terrible at how to pronounce the names. I'll let you do that, Tori. I know her middle name because that was my grandfather's name, but
Too far for me to see. I'm blind. I can't see that.
Hold on, let me see.
I was saying Marty, but it could be Ines Bourbon Verdun.
We're gonna butcher her name. I'm not doing that. You can't make me. You're not making me. I know, right? You ain't making me do that. Oh
yeah.
Yes.
So that's is it in Spanish?
It looks like Marie Lee.
Mary Lee or Marie Lee. Inez.
Yeah, Marie Lee. I'm going with Marie Lee.
I'm just gonna call her Marie.
I'm going with Marie Lee.
Yeah, designer.
Okay. That's your grandfather's. Her middle name is your grandfather's last name.
She's cute.
First name.
Oh wow.
She's cute. She's sassy. I love her.
She looks a little bit like Paula Abdul young.
She does.
Just a little bit. Mm-hmm.
I like she's got bling. She's got a cute bow. She's sassy like her.
Yeah, I was checking out some
like
of
the sparkly.
Yeah. I love her vibes.
Yeah.
Right. Stands out. That's cool. That's cool, man.
She makes some videos, so definitely check it out on Saturday. It'll be 8 a.m. time, 11 a.m. Eastern time. He said, "Call her." Connie said, "Call her Money."
Yeah,
that's probably goes by.
So, okay, I know this wasn't on our topic of list, and we don't got to talk very long on it because I'm sure a lot of people are pretty in tune with it. But I just wanted to send out prayers and positive energy and vibes to my Black friends in the community after another killing by police for Dante Wright, the young man that was shot and killed at a traffic stop in Minnesota just the other day. My heart bleeds for his family, his mother, his child, who's going to be 2 years old in July, and just another young man's life that was taken by senseless. So right now they're doing protests and vigils for him, a candlelight vigil that you can, just Google his name and pull it up live if you want to watch that and be part of that prayer. And also there's ways to give his parents support, who are just incredibly strong humans, watching his mother and father, who are asking for people to rally together, but to not have the violence because they don't want their son's name to be forgotten in it all. But this is just it. When is it going to stop?
Yeah.
And so many people are making excuses and saying, oh, he had warrants, and well, don't if you comply, then things won't happen to you. But we all know that this is false. And I mean, how many times are you going to, I think it was you, Drake, that sent me that thing that said, one officer says, "Oh, I thought I had my taser, not the gun." The other officer says,
That's
you know,
crazy.
"Oh, I thought my life was in danger." And how about the one that, you know, went into the wrong apartment? "Oh, I thought it was my apartment." You know, everybody is held accountable for their mistakes, but police officers are not. And it's just disgusting.
Yeah,
It's
and then to
absolutely
hear
disgusting
that, you
and
know, when I
heartbreaking.
heard that he's like
So,
that was the alibi. I thought I was grabbing. I was like, wow.
so he, you know, quick run. Yeah. Oh, here we
Yeah, I
go.
seen it. It's crazy.
He was on his way to a car wash. His mother just gave him this car.
DNC and shit.
You turn the lights back on, please.
So she is saying that she thought she tased him, but she actually shot him. So.
There's a definite difference in your taser and your gun. Your taser is put on your less dominant side, is how they've been trained. You know, there's a lot of people that are trying to back up this notion where she had this glitch of motor skills in a stressful situation. That's your job. That's your job, to not have a glitch. You are a police officer. You know if you're grabbing your taser or your gun. You know, and somebody had said, "Oh, it's just like if you have a rental car." This is the most stupidest fucking example. So just like if you have a rental car and you go and you get in your rental car and you go to reach for the stick shift that's not there because you're used to it being there. I said, how are you even comparing that when you're a police officer and this is supposed to be your job to know the difference? Like, it's not, you know, and I really think it's disgusting that she was able to resign, which means that she can get her pension and her benefits. I don't think it's fair. I just don't think it's fair. Regardless if he got in the car and he was resisting arrest, your job is to know what a taser is and what a gun is. And did you feel that your life was in danger enough to shoot him? No. No, not at all. Not at all. And you know, let's go a little further. So they said he told them, he called his mother, right, during the stop, said, "Mom, I've been stopped. They told me I had something hanging from my mirror." He had expired plates, is what they're saying. So they ran it. They said he had a warrant. The warrant was for a ticket that got unpaid because the pandemic hit and he couldn't go to court. Right? They are saying, "Oh, they sent it, but it went to the wrong address." Regardless, why is this child getting a ticket for smoking a joint in a state that decriminalizes marijuana?
Right.
A warrant that should have never, a ticket that should have never, you know, this should have never even escalated. And was he even doing anything bad enough for you to warrant a traffic stop with all that is going on in the world, especially blocks away from where, you know, somebody else was just killed and they're doing a trial for, you know, I just don't get it. I just don't get why these police officers are picking and choosing. And why, if he's got expired tabs, why is there
and they do shit like that because like those are little cover up writing tickets and shit because they think, well, they're not gonna go and fight it, they're just gonna pay the shit and all that too, type of stuff.
More money, more revenue. But if why were there 3 officers for a routine stop? 3?
Yeah,
I'd fucking be scared too, because
I
don't
see
know.
that. Yeah, I see that around here a lot.
Today, you ready for this?
Today,
today, before I got on today, driving down the street, right? Me and my son, we're driving. I'm coming to the red light. Instantly, I'm in a panic. I'm in a fucking minivan, okay? I'm going to panic. I see a cop coming up behind me. He's coming. Here comes the red light. I don't even want him stopped behind me because my son has long hair and tattoos everywhere, right? My son, who is the most calmest natured, respectable young man I have ever met, not just because he's my child, but because that's how he is, right? But people look at him differently. It doesn't matter if he's in a minivan. You see my son, you automatically think that he's a criminal, even though he doesn't even have he's never had a record and been in trouble a day in his life, right? So we're coming up to the red light and I'm like literally going, okay, A, B, or C, turn lane, straight, or go to the right. Pick one, pick one. In my head, I'm white knuckling my steering wheel. At the last minute, get to the right, and right before I have to stop, there's a driveway, and I pull into a taco truck and I hop out. My son looks right over me, goes, getting tacos today, huh? He knew exactly what I was doing. I said, sure am. How many do you want, honey? He's like, I'll take one and I'll take a bottle of Coke. He knew, and he just looked at me and winked, and I hopped out and I got tacos and a Coca-Cola because I was instantly scared. Okay, what all these thoughts go through your head, like, okay, what if he pulls me over? What if he sees a son? What if we get stopped? What if we don't make it past the stop? What if I don't make it past the stop? And I'm tan. I'm not colored, right? I'm not black. So, but still, that fear that your child is not going to make it alive. I couldn't even imagine having to live that. So just that happened today, and anybody to do that. Just that fear. No wonder he ran.
Right. We got to call. Caller. Are you there, caller?
They always call towards the end of the show.
Hello?
It's okay.
Yeah, what's up?
Hey.
What's up? How are you, brother?
Hey, what's going on, man?
How you feeling? I seen you comment. So what happened with you in Dearborn? It says the Dearborn police pulled over you for the same before.
Oh, hey, so Born.
Yeah, what's going on?
What's up?
What's up?
Yeah, Dearborn, man. I'm in Dearborn. We're going down, right? Going down Michigan. They pull behind us. We're like, oh man, the cops behind us. They pull up beside us. They look in the car. They're looking in the car, right? We look over to the side. They looking all at us. Then they get behind us again. Then they flick the lights on. We pull over. They as soon as they come to the car, they was like, "Hey, you know why we pulled you over, right?" My homeboy driving. He's like, "Nah." They was like, "Cause of that air freshener right there." He had the tree hanging, from the previous
the tree that everybody has hanging.
Yeah, and the one that everybody has hanging. Yeah,
literally, the one that they give you at the car wash. They give everybody at the car wash one. Like everybody has the tree.
The ones that everybody has since the 60s and 70s and
right in the 60s and 70s. That's funny, right?
Exactly.
Hey, that was very cute. So now you see the videos nowadays, everybody. I'm in the back seat, my homeboy's there. They told him to roll his window down. You see videos today, people say, "Nah, I don't have the right not to roll my window down." So my homeboy, they told him to roll his window down. He cracked his window, was like, "Yeah, what's up?" Hey, they told him to roll his window down. He wouldn't roll his window down. He wouldn't do it. So they told the driver, get out of the car. He being detained. He get out the car. They get the passenger out of the car. They get everybody out of the car. Then they get me out of the car the other way. I had a ticket from an ancient driving ticket. So they tell me I'm going to ticket. I'm going to jail for this ticket. I'm the only one who had a ticket. I'm the only one who had a problem. I was going to jail just because he didn't want to roll down his window for them.
And you were in the back seat.
He didn't have. I was in the back seat, yeah.
Crazy.
I was in the back seat. We didn't have no problem. We didn't have no drugs, no anything. Only problem we had was being black and Dearborn. And they pulled up. They saw us. They pulled up beside us. They looked in. They saw us. They were like, "Oh no, get behind them. Hey, we're pulling y'all over because of your air freshener. You know what? Somebody in trouble." And hey, and like today, people like, hey, we got rights. We don't have to roll down our window. Hey, we don't have to do this. Man, come on, man. Hey, I'm from Detroit, Southwest Detroit, where the cops beat us down. We get whooped. Hey, come on, try that, man. Try that rights and stuff with the cops. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, okay.
But
And the whole time, so the whole time you get pulled over for, DWB, driving while black, and you get taken away. They want to mess with you. Let me guess, nobody got a ticket for that tree hanging on the window, did they?
nobody, we didn't get a ticket for that at all.
Exactly.
The only person nobody got a ticket for anything, they pulled everybody out the car, set them on the curb, and took me to jail because I had a ticket that was unpaid.
Right.
They took me to jail.
Disgusting.
Calling Detroit, asking them that they want to come pick me up. Detroit, like, we're not coming to pick you up.
Right. No, they have real crime to fight.
For a couple of days until Monday comes, and then they let me out on Monday. Because Detroit, they're not going to come pick you up. Of course, they're not picking me up for a driving ticket.
Too busy.
Yeah, but Detroit not going to pick you up. Come on now, for a driving ticket, like an old ticket, like, it was ridiculous, man. Just a DWB, that's all it was. Got pulled over for it. And
I'm so sorry that you have to go through that.
They can actually pull you over for having that air freshener there.
They didn't even, they could pull you over for just to say suspicion. They didn't even have to say that.
Well, it's
you know what I mean?
The obstruction.
They don't, but they don't even have to say that. They can just say you look suspicious. Because I've been told that before in court by
that's true.
They don't have to say that was just an excuse. So they could have not even been fake like that. They could just say because you look suspicious.
I've read that some
either way is BS.
That some police stations, they give them a list of bullshit ass excuses to say so that when they do pull you over because they profiled you, they can say, oh, you had the tree hanging, you didn't have a light on your license plate that was bright enough, I saw you move a funny way, any of it. And again, like you said, now people are, I don't want to roll my window down. And it's like, okay, you want to stand up for your rights, but standing up for your rights is literally going to get you fucking killed. So at this point, what the fuck do you do? There's no...
That's happened before with you, Drake. Remember back in the day in Detroit? That happened with your hip hop thing.
Yeah, I'll tell this story. I appreciate it, Bishop. Thanks for calling and sharing it. Just make sure people are aware of what's going on in the communities, and it's mostly in the urban communities. So, and I'll tell my story. Thanks, Bishop. Appreciate you calling in, bro.
Thank you for calling in.
Thanks a lot, bro. Stay safe. God bless.
Yeah,
thank you.
Thank you.
So I have run in with the law, but unfortunately, I got to be honest with you. I do have friends in high places. So, I've been pulled over in Detroit. I've been pulled over by a gang squad or whatever, and
a handful of times.
Handful of
times, and I think I was with you almost every time.
I ain't surprised. I ain't scared of you motherfuckers.
I don't know who I was, young or whatever. My mom or whatever, right? That guy, the guy that pulled me over, it was the gang squad. I think he was like a head of gang squad at the time. I got an actual apology, actually a phone call, an apology.
Right.
Hey, you know what? We're sorry. After that event happened, anytime I got pulled over and I gave him my license, they basically said, "Go ahead, have a good day." So,
right. No,
yes.
I mean, there was.
Listen, I'm name dropping your mama anytime I'm in Detroit. Okay.
No, look, there was.
Can I give her name to Dominic, please? I need my child to be able to name drop your mama.
She's worldwide, so Phoenix, Detroit.
I'm gonna need that.
I would get pulled over.
Use that today.
Like we need some Jane Garcia cards. And shit.
They would just pull me over and have a good day.
Get out of jail free cards.
I was going down Livernois at about
times, man.
120 miles an hour. I don't know where I was.
You were going to
down Livernois.
You were going to a girl's house.
I was good. My mom lives on Michigan and North Campbell, so I was going. I was going to Burger King. I was like, I guess I was hungry. I was doing 120. A guy pulled me over and he said, "Where the fuck were you going?" I was like, "I was hungry." And I gave him my.
Get a Whopper.
I don't remember that.
I gave him my ID. He's like, "Oh man, just slow down, man. Jeez, okay, have a good day."
This fucking kid.
This fucking kid. I was a kid, right? So I was this fucking kid. So
you're lucky. You're lucky because that doesn't happen.
You're about to kill somebody. Kill somebody for a hamburger, for a Whopper.
I had a custom plate. It said Dreek on it, right? So I guess the plate, the license, or whatever. One time, a state boy pulled up, and he pulled over my girlfriend at the time, fiance, mother of my children, and he pulled up, and the windows, I always had the limo tint, right? So that was always a flag, a limo tint.
Pitch black.
You're just hot. You just riding hot all the fucking time, huh? Coming in hot.
And he was a state boy. He's still a
hot
boy. And he went up to the car, and he really thought it was me driving. I guess the person, the mother of my children, wasn't breaking any laws. He wanted to say hi, and she rolls the window down, and he goes, "Where's Enrique at?" And she was like,
"What the hell?"
She's like, "What?" And she goes, "Yeah, like, where's Enrique? Why do you have his car?" And she.
What in the hell?
And she goes, "Oh, that's my boyfriend."
She's like, "Cause I'm sleeping with him." No.
That's just my baby daddy.
I didn't have children, but he's like, "Oh, okay. I would just wanted to say hi. Just tell him I said hi. I saw the car, so I wanted to say hi, and I knew who it was." She was like, "Damn,
she should have known then you were trouble."
Right, what the fuck?
So it's funny because home and she tells me the story. She goes, "Wow, you know fucking everybody here?" And I said, "Why?" And she said, "Because I had a state trooper just pull me over randomly and was where the fuck you were." And I was like, "Oh, that's..." So I just.
She should have been like, "He's in the trunk. I gotta go."
Trunk.
Connie says she remembers that.
Connie is my mother of my children's cousin. So.
Oh, okay.
So.
Yeah. Unfortunately, those things don't happen. Few and far in between nowadays, and
I never really did. I mean, one time, and like I said, he apologized, and that was the end of the story. It was the end of the story.
I used to get, and I'm not discrediting people getting pulled over driving while black, but let me tell you. So when I finally moved out of Detroit over to the north side of 8 Mile, we lived in East Point, which was East Detroit at the time, right? So I still had a lot of friends in Detroit. I went to school there for years. So any time I would cross over 8 Mile into Detroit, on my headed back, I can't even tell you the amount of times that I was pulled over coming back onto the north side, and they instantly want to know what I'm doing in Detroit. And I'm like, visiting a cousin, visiting a friend. Oh, do you got drugs in the car? No. Instantly, they assume that white kids coming over or white people coming over the border of 8 Mile are purchasing drugs. And I'm not saying that doesn't happen, but there's such a, it's just ridiculous that how, they're pulling people over and harassing them for being in a certain neighborhood, whether you're black or white, but especially crossing over 8 Mile. And ask any of your black friends that live in Detroit, they get harassed crossing over 8 Mile into the northern suburbs, even though they live there. It's disgusting and it's sad. And until they fucking drain the swamp and they clean house and they start training properly, and they don't just train 20 fucking years ago, because the woman that shot Dante Wright was on the force for how many fucking years?
I want to
we'll say this again. They need to be retrained. They need to constantly go through this training. There has to be
the mental shit too, all that, like you
all
said.
of it.
I wish we had a cop to call in, and I want to play a little bit of devil.
I tried to get one, but he's on duty right now, and so it was a little hard. And I still, honestly, I'm gonna try to set that up with him because he's been a Wayne County sheriff, a few of them. So I'm gonna try to get that to happen because I really feel that we need that on our show.
A little devil advocate, and I'm not condoning what.
Got a couple friends I could reach out to.
I'm not.
If you don't get that.
Yeah, definitely. I know we still know some Detroit cops, but
yeah,
I'm not condoning what happened with Brianna, any of that stuff. But what I'm saying is, definitely they need to be retrained. Just like you have to go back for your driver's license or whatever the case. You need to take a test. All that stuff needs to be. You need to be retrained. Right. But when I say devil advocate, I mean you don't know. And I'm talking from a cop standpoint, and don't know what it is to be a cop, but you don't know what's going through their mind at that point. I mean, you're talking split seconds. No. You have to make a decision, and you don't know what trauma. I'm not, like I said, I'm not condoning what she did. You don't know what she's going through. That cop that just killed that kid. There's so many different things that happen, and that you have to make a split decision. It could involve your life, your partner's life. So we don't know. And I definitely want to dig into that. I want to see what that is to be a cop, to face, you know what I mean? I think I heard the story what cop told me one time. He goes, he says, I pulled my gun out once. You never want to pull your gun out because that could be,
you have to make sure.
So you know what I think is the hardest pill to swallow right now between what you just said.
It's a whole lot of NYPD Blue. And about, a lot of that's real shit on there.
Making that decision, right? For anybody. You're making that decision. You want, like you said, you don't pull your gun out unless you absolutely have to. You never know what's going to happen, your life or theirs. But the problem that people are having right now is how come the mass shooter makes it to the jail and the mass shooter makes it to the jail.
Everybody.
The white mass shooter makes it to the jail. The white school shooter makes it to the jail. But the black unarmed 20-year-old gets killed. You know what I'm saying? And there's too many of that happening.
Right.
There's too much of that's happening. You don't ever, you don't hear of most mass shooters that white, they kill themselves. They're not killed by the police. Very few. Compared to the amount of black people who are unarmed and who are not a threat to your life, who are, put in the, you fit the description bullshit. He had a warrant bullshit. You know how many fucking warrants I've had? Come on. Come the fuck on. Like I
was going to tell you.
Profiling has to stop. It just has to fucking stop.
I was going to tell you a two-part story before I play this last video. So back to the driving around Detroit, the Metro Detroit, and I was able to do what I want, speed, I guess, do blow lights or whatever. And I guess I didn't have that privilege. Right.
You had privilege, you privileged motherfucker.
I thought I had those privileges in the suburbs, and like you were saying. So what happened is, and I'll tell you the story.
Yeah, they were like, you got to relax.
Yeah, so I think I got three tickets in one day. Allen Park, Dearborn, and Dearborn Heights.
That's
all in one
horrible day, man.
Yeah, it was a horrible day.
God.
And then I got another ticket somewhere. I think
was it a ticket for the same thing?
Oh, speeding.
Speeding. Yeah, I had.
Okay, so it wasn't like equipment or something.
No, I had a lead foot.
No, you were just fucking off. Okay, got it.
I got 3 tickets in one day, and we were going to actually. I don't know if you remember, but I actually was going to. We were going to go promote a show, so I forgot some things, and I was speeding trying to get there. So I got 3 tickets in one day. And then the following couple of weeks, I got a ticket in Woodhaven. My fiance at the time lived in Woodhaven. Right. So I got 4 tickets. I got my license suspended, right? I got my license suspended because I had 12 points in one 12-month calendar year, right? I paid, and then so I lost my license.
Ooh, you paid a lot of money to get your license back.
Well, I tried to pay for it. I paid a lawyer. I don't remember. So much money. He sucked ass, right? I ended up... It still lost my license for 12.
Thank God. Jeez, he's good, but he's not God.
Yeah,
seriously.
So yeah, he sucked ass. I was like, I felt like I was a
Crazy.
criminal. I'm like, damn, I just have a suspended license, right? So I lost my license for like a year. Well, during this time, I was still being fucking
I
stubborn.
wonder why
Right?
you let me drive your shit all the time.
Yeah, so I was still being fucking stubborn, right? Fuck that. I'm gonna drive. I don't care. And you know, we were always in Dearborn.
I'm
High.
guilty of that. I drove on a suspended license for years, not because of your issues, though.
Yeah. So you know, they I got pulled over on a suspended license 3 more times. So they extended it, whatever, another 12 months.
Right.
But I can tell you, I got pulled over in Dearborn, right? And the guy, you know, I said, look, man, I gotta be honest with you, I got a suspended license, right? He's like, get out of the car.
Terrible
Good to be
driver.
honest, though, man. It pays to be honest. It does.
I said, I ain't gonna waste your time. I got a suspended license. He's like, well, you're going to jail. And I was like,
whoa,
yeah, okay, no
maybe
problem.
not.
Yeah.
Shit,
And I said,
thought he was
okay,
gonna
no
let
problem.
you go.
Yeah, no. So, and he, you know, handcuffs me, puts me on the curb, and he started asking, you got any weapons? You got any drugs? And what really fucking ticked me off, because I'm in Dearborn, right? And it was at the time, it was recently after 9/11. And I don't know if he thought it was Arabic or Middle Eastern or whatever the case may be.
Oh.
Do you have any grenades or bombs?
Damn.
And I was like, really? Where the fuck am I going to get
I'm
grenades?
like, nah, man, I got some jumping jacks in the fucking glove compartment. But
So, anyways, he put me on the curb, and I was like,
You're like, hang on, let me put my turban on to make this a little bit easier for
Like,
you.
now
Are
ask
you
me.
fucking kidding me?
That's crazy.
no, it's
That's
funny
crazy.
because, you know, I'm on, you know, my plate, I got the customized plate.
Right.
Mm-hmm. You're in Dearborn. You fit the description.
Everybody knows my car. Well, my mother and my children, one of her friends were driving by. They said, called her and said, hey, Dearborn police has your boyfriend on the curb. Go bail him out. So for whatever reason, when he threw me in the cell.
Crazy.
I know she was tight of your ass at that point.
No,
All
she
them damn tickets.
She was like, what?
She was
Dude,
like,
So,
this motherfucker
She was like, okay,
right
I'll come
here.
back out. Where's your money, babe?
yeah, no, at the time, I had a couple phones out, and for whatever reason, they didn't take one of my phones. So I'm in the lockup, and I'm like, she calls
hell
me.
no. That's
I
crazy.
call her, and I'm like, hey, you got to come
How
bail
would
me
you
out.
do that?
Like, where's the, you know, she goes, well, how much is it? And I said, I don't know. Just go to at the time I had the service. I said, go to the service, get
Oh,
about $1,000 from the phone operator and tell them to come get me. So she goes get the money. They don't even process me. And they say, well, somebody's here to post your bill. They're like, they were mad because they couldn't even fucking process me. And so they were pissed. So
I'm surprised they let you out that quick. Because
they let me
usually when they're that pissed, they make
Right.
you wait around. They dick you around.
no, it was $500. They got me out or whatever. So
Oh, that ain't shit.
they just, you know. So the end of this story was definitely I never was, you know, I never argued with the cops. Whatever. You know, I just say, okay, whatever. I'm going to bail myself out anyway. So hurry up, get me over there to the jail, whatever the case may be. So later it's funny because in Woodhaven, the same thing happened to me. But at the time, I had a bunch of drop money from the service, from the escort. And they're like, why do you have $5,000 on you? And I said, well, you know, I have an escort service or whatever. So the same thing, I processed myself. They let me bail myself out, you know, blah, blah, blah. But what I was saying is that I never fought with the cops and I never had the problem. The only problem that I ever had was that a Detroit cop that, you know, was like, you know, where are you guys, gang members, blah, 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 whatever the case may be. But what I was getting at was, since I lost my license for the 2 years, I had to pay someone to drive me around in my own car. That's how shit. So I hated that. I would sit in the back and people would make fun of me. They're like, this motherfucker, someone driving your car to drive you around. And it was so funny because I would get up in the morning. He would drive his car over to my house and then he'd like, you know, run around doing errands or whatever. But it really sucked because I paid $500. I think I was paying $500 a week for someone to drive me in my own car.
Now imagine you didn't have those privileges, right? You didn't have the privilege of getting out of trouble. You were You were
That's right.
profiled often, right? So think about it. Well, not even that, but
No.
think about it. You're profiled. Yes, you put yourself in that position by speeding, whatever, right? But sometimes when you get a suspended license, it's a vicious cycle, especially in Michigan, because insurance is so fucking high, right? Like some insurance is a whole fucking car payment. Sometimes it's more than your car payment just for, basic coverage. So you're driving hot. Like, it is what it is. I can't even tell you the amount of times I had to drive fucking hot because I didn't have a choice and I didn't have the money to pay somebody to drive around or somebody who had the time to do it, right? But I had shit I needed to do. So
and there wasn't no Uber.
Right. Yeah. And you got to get to work. You got to get your kids places. You got to go you got to go grocery shopping. You got shit to do. Right. So even though they say, well, don't do the crime and this won't happen. And when shit like that happens and you're put in that predicament where your back is to the wall and it's, fight or flight, like you don't know what you're going to do and you don't know what people are under. And I'm not condoning resisting arrest or in this, but there's been times, I think I might've told you the story before, that I got pulled over on 94 and he saw my record.
Right.
My record wasn't guilty because they charged me with something a drug offense that it showed that it was charged with a drug offense, but it showed that I beat it because it was false. Right.
Okay.
But it still showed on my record. So when he pulled me over on 94, he thought I was this fucking big drug kingpin. He sees my workout. What's that?
You damn drug king, you.
Right. Okay. Pulls me out of the car Sunday morning, and I was in a rush. I was headed to my sister's house to go for a dress fitting, right? So I was putting my makeup on in the car. I had a little bit of like foundation, like it landed on my jeans, right?
Oh, hell no.
He looks in my car. He looks down at my lap. He looks at my back seat, which has like I have a gym bag with like a canister of protein powder. He thought I fucking had drugs in this bag.
What in the world?
He pulls me out. He says, "You got drugs on your lap." He tore my whole fucking car up, had me on the hood of the car. He looks at me. He says, "If you move, I fucking shoot you."
Wow.
And I'm just like,
oh my God. That was over here or over there?
Yeah, I-94 in Michigan on I-94 in Roseville. Fucking the scariest shit. I'm on the freeway. It's windy. It's cold, and he's literally looks dead in my face. He says, "You fucking even think about moving?"
Gave you
I'll
that
shoot."
look and shit, right? Wow.
I didn't even do anything.
Right.
At that point, it's fucking scary. Like,
Hell
even though
yeah.
you're told
You
you're
know,
gonna get
what's gonna
shot, like
happen?
you don't know what's gonna happen. I literally felt like he was gonna beat my ass. I didn't even do anything. I'm now sobbing, fucking sobbing, humiliated, violated. My car is fucking trashed.
That's crazy.
And
Damn.
he's calling me a fucking drug dealer and accusing me of shit that I didn't even fucking do, all because I was doing like 10 over on the freeway.
Wow. Well,
Disgusting. This abuse of power is leading to people being killed and put in positions where they feel that they don't have any other option to resist and to fight what's happening that's unjustly, or they're scared that these police officers need to be trained to make better decisions so that they don't take someone's fucking life.
Right.
And then going back to that, if I didn't have money or if I didn't know someone, definitely, that would have been it. Definitely they could have came out and shot me, whatever the case.
And imagine this being a repeat,
repeat for offender.
Like,
yeah,
just like today, that anxiety of me coming to the red light just a few hours ago was insane. So much so, like when I got back in the car, my son high-fived me. We had no words.
That's crazy.
He high-fived me. He knew exactly what to do. And then you know what I did? I looked over at him and I said, "What would you have done?" And I quizzed him. "What would you have done? Would you have went A, B, or C?" And he goes, "Well, I would have gotten the turn lane." I said, "Oh no, you go wherever you can keep rolling. Do not fucking stop."
Right.
You pull up into a place and you
so
pop
damn
out.
Obvious and flying
without being so obvious. But if you can get and you can walk up to a place, he goes, "Okay, well, I guess next time I'm pulling into the heavy equipment and I'm renting a backhoe." I said, "Whatever the fuck you got to do, get the fuck out the car and get to a safe spot.
Get the fuck out of the car."
Keep your hands visible."
Right. But I used to go out to my sisters when that was early, like around the same time that happened with probably with you, both of you guys. And I would go out to my sisters And sometimes, very rarely, would I go to like Sterling Heights to like a club over there off of the water
don't
over there.
ever go there.
Oh, but we would go as like me and my nephew, my family. We would go with some white friends. But either way, if I was driving, I mean, how could I not be paranoid going and drinking? And my sister would go straight down 9 Mile. And it's right there, but even though it was that close, it was still. You always had to watch. It was a lot different 20 years ago in early 2000s over there. So,
but it's funny. It's a lot different. But really, how much is fucking changed?
Yeah.
You're
right. You're right. It's got a lot worse. But
enough is enough.
Right.
If we all don't band together and unify together, this isn't going to stop, and more people are going to lose their children and their husbands and their wives and their friends, their family members, and
right.
As much as I love my blue community and my friends who are police officers, and I feel for them because they go out every day and they do risk their lives. I am not dismissing that. They risk their lives. They do the jobs that a lot of people don't want to do.
Right.
I feel that there needs to be more. They need more training. They need more mental health. They need more resources for them so that they can make the right choices and they can stop. And in that sense. The next generation that comes out, hopefully they can
follow suit and
make better choices and better
right.
suits so that this stops happening to innocent families and victims and people that it's senseless. And, I'll just leave it at this, I saw this thing the other day and I'm sure you guys have seen it where it's sad that a white parent, when their child leaves the house, says, hey, bye, drive safe, have fun, have a good day at school, have a good day at work. But a black parent has to say, don't wear your hoodie up.
Yeah.
Don't wear your hoodie up.
Yeah.
Don't wear
Wear
a hat. Keep your hands visible.
Right.
Put your ID where they can see you when you grab it. Don't, they have to give them a list of things to not do and to do to hopefully stay alive.
Yeah.
How sad is that?
That's sad. Yeah.
We need to do better, people. We need to do better as a whole.
For sure.
So Connie, but she remembers that that I had a driver. I thought it was hilarious, but Jesus Christ, I spent a lot of money paying a driver. So that is just crazy. But
so
you
had the Uber and Lyft idea before anybody.
Yeah.
Damn. Right there, $1 million idea.
Never mind. I'm not even gonna comment.
They had the Uber Uber escort /escort service. That'd have been damn Meals on Wheels almost, but
I know this, her cousins, I believe her parents. My mom reached out to them because they lost their parents New Year's Eve last year. Her cousin, I know that she helped. My mom helped them out or whatever, try to get some money and stuff like that because it was a pretty tragic. So.
Wow.
Thanks, Connie. Yeah, my mom definitely does help a lot of people.
Sorry to hear that.
I'm gonna need your mom's card.
Yeah. My mom, I love her to
make a sweatshirt like I know Jane.
Yeah, she.
I have that bitch pinned on my visor.
She.
right.
She, I hate to drop her name because she'd be like, "Don't do that. You're my son. You don't need to."
They should make a special sticker, just like they do the license plate.
We need your name, Mom.
A special sticker, like a stamp that goes on your license plate, and they just won't fuck with us, man.
I'm just gonna crack the window and hand her card over and go, "What does this get me?
Right.
Does this get me anything?"
Well, there was. You remember in Untouchables when they pulled, he chased the Nitty to he was trying to escape from. What's his name? And he goes, give him back the gun. He pulled out like a card, and it said, "To whom it may concern, Frank Nitty is allowed to carry a weapon anywhere in the in the city of Chicago."
Right.
The officer told him, "You got to give him back. Got to give him his gun back." The mayor says it was cool.
Right.
There you go. The mayor of Southwest Detroit. That is funny.
Jane Nitty.
Yeah. So I'm gonna play this video real quick. Let me cue it up, but this was the aftermath, and you guys know what's going on in that city. So it's crazy.
Minneapolis, right? Or Minnesota.
Minnesota.
Yeah, that's so
Rondon, no hitter. Carlos Rondon got a no hitter.
In charge with second-degree manslaughter. This is Kim Potter wearing an orange jumpsuit now instead of a uniform. Potter's arrest comes just 3 days after she shot Dante Wright during a traffic stop for expired tags in the Minneapolis suburb of Brooklyn Center. According to the police chief, who has since resigned, Potter thought she was firing her taser, but drew her gun instead by mistake. We learned today from the prosecutor that Potter's taser is yellow with a black grip and was holstered on her left side, while her black handgun was on the right. So in order to draw her taser, she would have had to use her left hand. But as you can see here, she shot and killed Wright with the gun in her right hand. We've seen 3 straight days and nights of unrest and protests taking to the streets, and police are now bracing for more demonstrations tonight. NBC's Jay Gray on the ground in Brooklyn Center for us. What sort of reaction are you seeing to that officer's arrest?
Hey there, Shep. I want to give you a real-time look at the situation here. The curfew's been extended to 10 o'clock tonight from 10 to 6 in the morning. Last few nights, the curfew hasn't mattered. Take a look. Crowd really growing substantially over the last few minutes here, packed with people who say they'll continue to call.
So, I mean, that's what's going on in that city, and it's just been a boiling point, with everything. So, it's
How did
just
she
sad.
not see it wasn't fucking yellow?
Oh, say again. I'm sorry.
How did she not see her gun in her hand wasn't yellow?
As soon as I heard that excuse, that's exactly
When you watch the
like,
video, you see her gun in her hand, and you see on the hip of the other officer his yellow taser.
Right.
So instantly, you know that it's not a fucking taser.
Right. I just was like, that's such bullshit.
You're a police chief.
Right.
Why weren't you trained better for the taser usage if that's the excuse? So many people need to be held accountable, and her actions show that they're taught that the gun is king and that that's their best friend instead of choosing, the right choice for the situation. Was her life in danger? Maybe she doesn't know if he had a gun. That's okay, but she grabbed the fucking gun and not a taser.
Right.
No excuse.
Look like she reacted a little bit too quick.
Why was she even there?
Period. I mean, like she overreacted. I mean, just say
completely, absolutely, completely.
Crazy.
And would
Makes
she have
it even worse.
And people want to say, "Oh, don't throw the race card," but would she have overreacted if it was a white guy jumping in the car like that?
Right. And we just seen one of those videos not long ago where they didn't overreact and let them
where
go.
They didn't. And
crazy. Like,
exactly.
Let
you
them
see
go.
So many. How about the video? You see literally endless videos of white people charging at cops with knives. They just move out of the way.
And as soon as you said it, I'm thinking of when they're on the side of the road. There's usually a ditch or something. I've seen so many of those, just like or they jump in a car and try to take off. It's like, what the fuck? You don't,
I never ever shot
or whatever, but I mean, I haven't
seen
too many blacks or
you can say it's biased. You
browns.
can say that people are over exaggerating, and then those who want to throw the black on black crime, fuck you. Okay, this not what we're speaking of, because there's white on white crime too.
Right.
But the white shooter makes it. The white shooter makes it to the jail cell. The unarmed black man makes it to the grave.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
So I was trying to show this picture. Let's see if I can. Maybe not.
No, Tigers are on the verge of a sweep, which is crazy. Crazy. 6-3 in the bottom of the ninth. Just to give everybody an update. Nobody thought they were going to do that to the Astros. But,
right.
And they actually cheered AJ Hinch going back home, gave him a standing ovation, played a video, I think, stuff like that. So that was cool, man. Like Tori always says, we don't need no more hate or he was involved in something. I mean, he got them a chance. Like I said, if he didn't win them a championship, I would have put a little bit of money on it that they would have booed him. But he did, so you know what I mean. It just changes things. They remember that he gave them a memory forever. So, you gotta. How can you not respect that? So people make mistakes. So
right. For whatever reason, it's not sharing. I don't know why, but
yeah, I thought that was cool.
So I was just going to give a shout out to recently, a couple years ago, Ford Motor in 2018 gave they bought the train station, and my mom was at the opening, and she this was her quote, and like I said, I love her to death. She said, "This train station," and I wanted to share the image, but it won't show. It says that the train station is a reflection of the city. It has been it withstood the worst, and will once again provide opportunity for everyone. Jane C. Garcia. So, I love you, Mom. You do so much for the community. So, just wanted to tell you that. I thought that was awesome at the opening.
Yeah, for sure.
Very much so.
So, some positive.
Just doing what she does. That's what
Yeah,
she does.
Yeah.
Yeah. We need more positivity in this world.
Right. And
especially right now.
Right. So I don't have anything else. Follow me on Drake Swift on every handle: Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, OnlyFans. There you go. Got my OnlyFans. Hey, what you got?
Tori Rochelle on Facebook, at All Beauty All Beast on Instagram, and The Savage Kitty on Twitter. That's THEE Savage Kitty on Twitter.
You're in that link tree, man.
I know. I need to get it.
What's your fan only page?
What's your fan? 313 Instagram.
I know.
On Instagram, it's open to the public.
It's open to the public.
Facebook, whatever you follow me on. Yeah, Twitter is the same thing. Sportsmom 313. And I don't know. We'll talk. I'll give you guys. Give me a conference call. Give me a conference call tomorrow.
We go.
Give me a conference call tomorrow.
It changed. So it's winning Tori, and you get the sucker finger. Go ahead, Tori. Show your finger. There you go.
It's bruised and everything. Ew, it's so ugly.
How did you do that again, real quick?
I caught it in the car door last night.
Oh, shit.
I caught it in the car door, and when it tore it down by the cuticle.
Look.
So I think I actually did nerve damage because my whole finger is numb today. I had to sleep with my hand elevated last night.
I'm one of them guys that hate anything with nails bending backwards.
It was so bad. Listen, when I was on the phone with Drake earlier, I'm like, oh my God, my finger. He's like, oh, are you okay?
You pulled it, or you just smashed it? You pulled it. Either way,
I caught the nail. I don't even know. I went to grab something, and the way I was parked by the curb, I was kind of on an unlevel, it was like in a cul-de-sac, like a roundabout. So I was kind of unlevel. And when I did, and I went to shut the door, my nail caught and got kind of slammed in the door when I pulled back. So it tore the nail almost all the way off, but not. And I had to cut it off. But when it did, it ripped it sideways. So I definitely know that I did something nerve damage because my whole finger is numb, swollen, hard, tingly. Yeah. So Drake wants to auction me off for a date and have somebody suck on it. I said, oh, great. So, I mean, I guess there's a fee for everything.
Right.
Yeah.
Whatever. Just as long as I'm getting like staph.
Did you ever see that video before I let you go? Have you ever seen that video where the guy sees his wife
sucked on the finger or something,
and they started kissing, and then he sticks his finger in her mouth, and then he replays like his day, like he touches the rail, he touches.
Oh, wait, hold on. What is it?
Like the garbage, and then he's like.
Sounds familiar as hell. What is that from?
He's like,
no, but I've done that. Like I've put my finger. I've done it first, so now,
Yeah, he's like scratching his ass like a bum, like he bumped.
He starts thinking of all the things he did with his finger and in her mouth.
And she's like, and then he's like, oh God, like
what am I?
Yeah. She has no clue. So nasty.
So I was trying to find a video, but nothing but porn come up.
Of course.
Sucking. Yeah, so nothing but porn. So,
so Alex wants us to conference call.
Yeah.
Oh,
ass eating conference call tomorrow.
Alex, get your shit together, okay?
Damn, that's what she said.
Before we go, we got to hashtag that real quick. Where is it at?
Hashtag assologist.
Assologist. Hold on, where's it at?
Here I am.
Take 2 of these and call me in the morning.
There it is.
Take 2 of these and call me in the morning. Remember that?
Yeah, take 2 of these.
Anthologist.
Thanks for tuning in. Check in on Saturday. Don't forget.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll talk to you guys later. Be safe.
All right. Yeah.
Wash your hands. Mask up. And wash your culo because you don't know where that finger been.
This is crazy.
Bye. Peace out.
Bye.
Bye, you guys.